casuals. We got a ton to
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about today.
Yup.
And NFL free agency, pretty much wrapping up now, even though it technically only just started. The legal tampering period is over now. Pretty much everything has settled down. We're gonna go team by team, just quick reactions. Try to hit every team we can here. We'll start with the Arizona Cardinals. We know they cut Kyler Murray, lost a couple other pieces, but for the most part, staying pat. They brought in offensive lineman Tyler Algier as the new successor to James Conner, Kendrick Bourne, Gardner Minshew, Andrew Wingard. Not much happening out there. Six. Why don't you give us just a quick reaction on the your NFC West bottom feeders there?
Yeah, no, I'll hop right in on here. One thing is Kyler Murray. I think letting him go was the right decision. Although I think he still has a lot of potential. I think that was the right decision. They hired a great coach or to be coach. At least he comes from a good family tree. Comes from a good coaching tree as well, from McVay's bloodline or coach line, whatever you want to say. But they got a good new head coach. He's in his first year, yes, but I think they might actually have a chance to compete for maybe 500 this next season. I don't think they're obviously going to get from being bottom of the division. They're probably going to be bottom of the division again. Probably going to have about 4 to 5 divisional loss, but now for the most part, I'm not really too worried about the Cardinals coming into the season. But I do think they had a great all season. I would probably give them a B, honestly, just based off the head coach and the big move to let Kyler go. But now I'll pass it over to Booger. What you thinking, man?
A B sounds like high praise. I don't know if I give the Cardinals a B. Feel like I bumped that down to maybe I'm gonna go D plus, honestly, just because like I mean your QB room is Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew. I mean, yeah, they got the third pick, so they probably, I guess, they're looking at a quarterback, whoever's second on the board behind Mendoza. But I mean, Gardner Minshew, and Jacoby Brissett as your QB room going into the season is pretty tough. So I don't know if I could give that a B. I'm gonna go D plus on the cards. Tyler Algier, he's gonna steal some touchdowns from James Conner. So have fun figuring that out in fantasy. But I don't think the Cardinals are moving out of last place in the NFC West, where
Nah,
every
wait.
other
Yeah,
team
not
got
much.
10 wins. You got Tyler Algier and Gardner Minshew. Like,
Yeah,
that's not doing anything, bro.
no, no, not at
Yeah,
all.
Yeah,
not much happening in Arizona. Clearly, they see the loaded division and they're seeing the supposed stacked QB class coming in. So
Next year,
probably a smart decision to sit tight and just let the coaching staff ease into it without much expectations there. Let's move on. Atlanta Falcons, kind of one of the more disappointing off seasons so far, considering that they're supposed to be a team that's been on the cusp for a while now. They did get rid of Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney, one of the perennial disappointing wide receivers. And their big addition was Tua Tagovailoa on the vet minimum, building an all lefty QB room. They franchise tagged Kyle Pitts, which we saw coming. But yeah, outside of Tua, not much happening for the Falcons, the Dirty Birds. Kenny, my lefty brother. What do you
yeah.
think about what the Falcons are doing?
Oh, it's got to be the first lefty like QB room ever, and it's like literally like dog shit. Like I just, it's
Nice.
just this is sad. I feel for Atlanta fans. You got your linebacker, evading police and doing
Mm,
some domestic
mm.
violence. Just going crazy out there. So yeah, the Falcons need some PR management or something, bro.
yeah, they need.
You're not buying the Tua Renaissance.
God no.
Tua and
The
Kyle
only thing
Pitts and Drake
the
I
only
don't
London.
thing
hate it.
I'm
I
buying
don't hate
is Tua like autism like
Okay, all
handouts.
right, all
Like
right, okay.
All
this man
right.
is crazy.
Let's
So
calm down
bad.
right there. That's where we'll go ahead and cut you off. I'll go ahead and hop in there. I'm going to defend Tua a little bit. I think that Tua has shown he can be part of a winning team. The Dolphins, I believe, have gone to the playoffs with Tua, even if they did poop their pants in the playoffs. I think Tua, you put him in the right system, he can be a good systems quarterback. He was a good systems quarterback in college. He was a good systems quarterback when McDaniels first had his offense jumping in Miami. He's a systems quarterback. The Falcons have a team for the offensive talent at least. for a system to work. Nah, I like it, and they re-signed Kyle Pitts. I thought it was pretty solid, quiet but solid. Off.
This is also a C minus.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a
Yeah, I'm
lot.
gonna go. I'm gonna go C. I'm gonna go C minus as well. That sounds pretty okay. I mean, just because like maybe if Tua can, have a resurgence, but I don't know. We talking about systems. I don't know if the Kevin Stefanski system has been working out so well. I mean,
Oh,
he did.
I mean, he's basically Dylan Gabriel now, so I
they
mean,
brought
it'll be real familiar.
they brought.
Yeah,
He's a OC now or the head coach? He's OC now,
he's the
right?
head coach, man.
He's the head
He's
He
the
coach.
head
got, he
coach.
got,
Oh
he's the head
man,
honcho.
I'm gonna go ahead and give them an F. I don't even care. That sounds crazy so much. It's an F. They just ruined Kyle Pitts. They just ruined Drake London's. Kyle Pitts will be gone next year. Mark my words, they will be fourth in the division next year. Even the Saints will be better than them. Yes, I'm calling it now. Take the under.
I don't think they'll be fourth.
Hey,
I think the Bucks might be the worst team in that division. Low
Oh,
key.
that's a hot take. That's a
Ooh,
hot take. I
oh,
like
that's a
it.
For
I
big
can
bold
see
real.
the
take.
vision for sure,
hey.
but all
I
right.
ain't mad at that.
Baltimore Ravens, potentially the story of free agency so far. They they
Dicey's up.
traded for Max
Dicey's up.
Crosby, and they said fuck that. They said never mind. Trey Hendrickson's still available. We're gonna decline the trade for Max Crosby, claiming that he failed his physical. And then signed Trey Hendrickson to 4 years, $112 million instead. That's basically what Max Crosby had left on his deal, which
Mm.
of course raised a bunch of question marks. That's not all they did, though. They did lose their starting center, Tyler Linderbaum, probably the best offensive lineman on the market in this cycle. But they did get Chidobe Awuzie back at corner. They brought in John Simpson at guard. Uh, Added a new safety, Jalen Hawkins. That's a nice, underrated move, in my opinion, and kept Snoop Huntley around. But of course, the big story is the Max Crosby debacle. So I want to ask all of you: do you think that there was some debauchery going on here, or do you think they were seriously concerned
Dicey's
about
up,
his
boy.
long-term future and his physical?
It's a robbery,
Boog, why don't
boy.
we start with you?
It's a robbery, boy.
Like,
Hey, the Ravens out here. Hey, if you ever seen the Wire, it's sketchy out in Baltimore. Niggas will rob you, bro. And that's what the Ravens did. They did some sketchy dealings. Yes, 1,000%. I believe it was sketchy. They had this deal. They knew Max Crosby was coming off surgery. Everybody in the world knew Max Crosby was coming off surgery, and so of course he could technically fail a physical, but I think no, I think they kind of got cold feet. I believe the cold feet from the GM there, Eric DeCosta. I think he saw Trey Hendrickson over there on the side, and it was kind of like that meme where he was walking with old boy's walking with his girl, and he like turns around, he's like, "Ooh, who that though?" It's like I can get Trey instead, and I think he did that instead. So yeah, I don't believe that it's just a quinky dink. I don't believe that he was trying to pair both of them together. I think that this was his evil plan all along, and hopefully they should be punished accordingly. You can't renege on deals like that. If you renege like that, it's spades, it's hands at the table. So yeah, that's some sketchy moves from Eric DaCosta. And saying that, I don't blame him at all, but fuck them because they're in the AFC. So
Also, like, don't they trade injured players too? Like on the off season? Yeah, an
Yeah,
injured player is gonna
very
pass
good
a physical.
players.
Like,
yeah,
what are
they
we?
knew he had surgery, like so of
They knew
course he
he
going
was hurt. Like, what are
yeah,
you
look
talking about? Past
physical.
physical OTAs don't start for another month and a
They
half.
didn't
What are
want to
we
give up the
talking
picks.
about?
It's like the
What?
bill came due and he was like, "Oh wait,
Yeah,
two
I
first round
mean,
picks? Oh, I don't know about that."
we can get the same guy for
back it
nothing.
up, homeboy.
Which I don't
Now,
blame
Back
you.
it
You got
up.
this. You got the same. You got your elite pass rusher without the picks given up. So it's a shrewd move. But damn, I wouldn't deal with them no more. Honestly,
yeah, nah, it was 100% a dirty move, but like at the end of the day, it's a business dog eat dog world, and the Ravens were hungry. They're tired of being fucking third place to the Bills and the Chiefs, or not even. They didn't make playoffs last year. Like,
they
come
didn't
on
even
now.
make the playoffs.
Like the Ravens, they should be a Super Bowl caliber team. They're tired of being the fucking kid who gets bullied because they just keep on getting wedgies every freaking playoff round. So they're tired of it, man. They're ready to put somebody else in the locker. They've been getting shoved in the locker for so long. But now, with that said, it was a dirty move, but I respect the fuck out of it, man. I respect it. They
Yeah.
knew what they were doing. I mean, the meme you compared to was perfect. I mean, honestly, bro, that was
Yeah, like, ooh,
that was beautiful.
ooh.
That's definitely what it was. It was like, oh, and two first, but nah, yeah, it was a dirty move, but I respect it. A plus in my opinion.
Yeah, personally, I do think Max Crosby is a significantly better player than Trey Hendrickson. Would I say he's 2 first-round picks better? Probably not. But I do like the other things they've done this offseason. They did lose a lot of starting pieces, but with what they had to work with, I like some of the signings they did make. But yeah, it's just going to be overshadowed by a very dirty, dirty move and something that we, at least I can't remember seeing in our lifetime. So let's move on to another AFC contending hopeful, the Buffalo Bills getting aggressive in the downturn of the Chiefs dynasty. They traded for DJ Moore, which we already covered. They got their center McGovern back. They brought in D. Alford at corner, and then they signed Bradley Chubb, another edge rusher, 3 years, $43.5 million, another aging star on the defensive line that they're hoping can bring them over the hump. Six. What do you think? You think this? You think the Bills got significantly better here?
No, no, bro. The thing like, how can you be so fucking awful at trying to improve your team? Like, excuse my language, but like, how can you be so awful? Every single offseason, the people you add is just like, dude, that's not it, man. Von Miller was like 80 when you added him. Well, the Bosa you added was like 80 when you freaking added him. It's like, dude, Bradley Chubb is not in his prime anymore. Like, let's not act like he is. Like, it's just like you guys suck at adding people for Josh Allen, and the fact he hasn't left you, that man is one of the most loyal people you ever seen, and he needs to leave them. His agent needs to get fired. He needs to leave the Bills. They suck at bringing in talent. Let's just be honest. I mean,
Leave. He said, get out of there.
get out of there. Get out. Get out while you can. It's just not it. It's not it.
What you think, Cam boy?
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with six. I like the bill. I like the Moore edition, but yeah, like the Bradley Chubb edition, 29 million guaranteed. Like, I
Oh,
don't know, like that's a lot of money.
no.
You give Dawson Knox 3 years and then you sign two QBs. Like, I don't know. Like it doesn't. It doesn't. It's an F, and then you sign Chauncey Gardner Johnson. He's been bouncing around teams. He gives a good boost for 5 weeks, and then he's off to his next one. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I think this is also a C.
It's a
Nah,
Twitter warrior, though.
Yeah, he is a Twitter
He is a
warrior.
Twitter. He is a Twitter warrior.
Which one of us is it?
Yeah, I'm kind of lukewarm on the Bills moves. I thought the DJ Moore move was kind of a panic trade, a little bit, especially when you see like what he's getting paid. I think that was just kind of a we need a receiver move. We hate Keon Coleman move. We hate the cookies meme move. We're tired of seeing the cookies meme in our inbox. So yeah, I think the Bills just kind of did some semi panic moves. So you get a C for effort, I guess. So, but I don't know if this necessarily takes him over the top. Like we already talked about DJ Moore. I'm not the biggest DJ Moore guy, but he is technically the best receiver on the team, which isn't I guess the spot you want to be in, where DJ Moore is your best receiver.
when you're trying to become a Super Bowl team, it's like you can't be making just mediocre though. Like, or if you were a regular team, I'm gonna give you a C, but you're a team that's trying to win the freaking Super Bowl. It's an F. Like, you gotta be aggressive. Josh Allen is going to eventually run out his prime, and I know he's early into his prime. He just started kind of a year or two when he won the MVP, but like the thing is you need to strike now. The iron's hot. Strike
Yeah,
before it's hot. You keep on signing these people past their prime. Like, you need to get a Randy Moss for Tom Brady. You need to bring in somebody who's going to change this team. Like, come on,
true.
Cooper Cup.
AJ Brown
So
said nothing.
I will give them credit for being aggressive. I do think they're trying. I think they're just swinging and missing constantly. Uh, as far as the defense goes, I mean, Bradley Chubb. 29 million guaranteed after what we saw from him last year is crazy. They also got rid of Taron Johnson, their nickel corner, and brought in D. Alford, which I think might honestly be a downgrade for more money. One thing I will say in defense of them is that I do think the DJ Moore trade actually looks better after seeing some of the money that was going around in free agency to wide receivers this period. I mean, 17 M's a year for Rashid Shaheed, Mike
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Evans.
whoa, 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 whoa. Let's calm down.
Mike Evans
Calm down.
getting 20 per at the
Calm
tail
down.
end of his career. I mean, that money was going around. We will touch on the Seattle Seahawks and give you a chance to defend the Shaheed resigning. Don't worry, Six. Let's hit the Carolina Panthers. Personally, I really liked what they did. They brought in quite a few big names. They brought in Jalen Phillips, probably the best edge rusher on the market that wasn't Trey Hendrickson. I mean, he's had a crazy injury history, and they signed him to a fat contract, 4 years, 120 million. So that's a little bit scary considering his injury history. But when he is on the field, he is a game-changing player on the edge. And then they also got my boy Devin Lloyd at a steal, 3 years, 45 million, 15 million per for the best linebacker out there. I thought he was going to go for 18 plus, maybe even hit into the 20s. And for 15 million a year, I don't think you can really complain about that. Kenny, what do you think?
No, this is one of the brighter teams of the offseason. I think defensively they really stepped up, and they got an even stronger defense. I think the defense was definitely better last year as well. They kept them in games. They uh, played well. They played up to the level of their opponents a lot of the time. Um, but yeah, I think the Panthers are on a good track. If Bryce Young continues this development with Ted McMillan, who played was rookie of the year. I think this is a solid team. Could win the division again, but we'll see. They are playing the one schedule this year, so that's going to be tough for them. So we'll see.
No,
That is
I
a
think
little brutal.
I'm gonna agree with you on this again, Kenny. I hate agreeing with you so much, but I'm gonna agree with you. I think it's right, man. The Panthers, they hit the free agency. They made the right move. Devin Lloyd was a steal, a steal. I can't believe Jacksonville let him walk. I know that Jacksonville has a lot of dead cap space, but we'll cover that in a little bit. But the Panthers, I think, have phenomenal offseason. They're really capitalizing on the improvements to the team. But I like the fact that they didn't really go all in on anybody. It's not like they put all their eggs into a basket this year coming up. They still know
I mean, they
that
gave a
the
buck 20 to Jalen Phillips.
I don't hate it though. I don't hate it. He's not.
That's a big contract.
That is a big contract, but that's a good player who deserves it. And I don't think Jalen Phillips is too old. So I think you got some
Mm.
years left on him.
No,
So
he's
he's a,
27.
that's
He's
not that old.
27,
That's
but
not that
he's
old.
never had 10 sacks in a season. So
It's not though. I think that there's potential there. I think there's something to build around. I think that they have a good solid base to take over this division and maybe run it for a couple of years. I think they're my division winners next year, and I think they got something there. I tried telling you, be patient on Bryce Young, and now everybody's like, oh yeah, Bryce Young.
he didn't do
I
it. He
told
lost in the wild card round. They didn't do
you. Oh,
shit.
but he
They
won
won
the
a
division.
shitty division. They won a
But
track
they picked
division.
before this season. The Panthers were picked to be last in the division. They won the
That's fair.
division. They
Good for
won.
them.
That's
Congratulations.
the goal for them was to just win 500 games, and by the end of the season, it turned into win the division. Like that's a huge jump from where they were.
I mean, they
Yeah,
still went 500. It's not like the Panthers were like lights
but they
out.
won a division. But they won.
Not fair. They won the division.
They won the division at 8-9. To be fair to
They see the next by winning division. They want to continue the pace of winning division. They understand they're not a Super Bowl team next year, but they can at least be a division winner for sure. And they can run this division until they become a Super Bowl team. I think that's a
You
great.
keep
I
saying
think that's
run with Tyler Shuck right there. I mean, we sleeping on Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck disrespect going around. Let's put some respect on his name. He's still in the division.
Yeah. Come on, dude. I'm writing Bryce
We're
Young.
not
Bryce Young,
shucking
best
it up.
quarterback in that division. Bryce Young, best quarterback in that division.
What's his ass?
You heard it,
Hey,
Baker.
I'm not. I don't want to talk
You heard
about
it,
the
Baker.
Panthers anymore. What's the next team? It's too much time on the Panthers.
I will say, I mean, you got a little bit of time until Bryce Young's contract is up, so why not why not push the chips in and see what you can do around him before you have to make a decision on whether he's the quarterback of the future for you while you're getting him on a bit of a discount. So, I mean, Jalen Phillips, that is a lot of money for someone who hasn't been healthy in years past, but between him and getting Devin Lloyd at a premium, I think that it kind of counteracts the money they spent on Jalen Phillips. So I'm still high overall on their offseason. But let's hit the Chicago Bears. They are trying to build on a transformative season, and they got aggressive for sure. They traded DJ Moore. They let go of Tremaine Edmonds. We know their center Drew Dahlman retired. Shout out to him. But yeah, they brought in a lot of pieces to try to replenish that. They traded for Garrett Bradbury at center. They brought in Devin Bush from the Browns. They brought in Kobe Bryant from the Seahawks. And then they also signed Neville Gallimore on the interior of that defensive line. Six, what do you think about the Bears' moves, including stealing a Super Bowl champion from the Seahawks?
Some of the pieces they lost, I'm not really too happy about. I thought DJ Moore is really clutch for their offense. I really like Tremaine Edwards. I think that's a huge loss. There's a lot of pieces I don't like that they lost, but at the same time, I like the pieces they added. Devin Bush, I think, is a solid pickup, but Kobe Bryant, I love Kobe Bryant. I think he's a dog. He from the beginning, excuse me, from the beginning of his career to where he's at now, he has just improved so much more, exceeded expectations of what he was supposed to be as a player. So I love Kobe Bryant, but the thing is he's injury prone this
I
past
love
year.
Kobe Bryant too.
The Black
He didn't
Mamba,
play much
baby.
this past
Finally
year.
going to Chicago.
Mamba.
I'm not upset. I'm not upset that we lost him. I love Kobe Bryant. I wish the best for him, but I really don't see him really progressing much because of injury. But if he stays healthy, it's a great pickup. But I don't know. I'm gonna give them a C plus because I do like their pickups. I think they just lost a lot. That they honestly, in my opinion, took a step back overall.
Okay. Bug, Chi Town, how's the city feeling?
I think the city's feeling good. I think from what I gathered with the from the locals, I think the DJ Moore trade, I think he was a player that kind of grew on people. I think he had some big moments. He made some big plays in some big games, like in the Packers game, game winning touchdowns and all that. So I think missing him, kind of a sting. But I like what the Bears did. I think Kobe Bryant. I think he's a good replacement for their safeties that they lost. And I like the second round pick they got for DJ Moore. So and Devin Bush, is a better cover linebacker than Edmonds at this point. So I think they spread their money around pretty well, and I think they, kept improved the spots they needed to. They replaced the Dahlman retirement. They got Bradbury from the Pats, and that was a good move as well. So I think they kind of steadied. I don't know if they really improved, but I think they got slightly better. I would say so. All around good move for the Bears. So let's see how they replace DJ Moore, what they do there. But I think they have that with
Yeah.
Roman, Colson Loveland, and the guys they got already. So I like what the Bears
Yeah.
did.
I mean, the Bears were locking in the fourth quarter, but they were down like 28 to like 15 in every game. Like the defense
Mhm.
wasn't doing them any favors. Like everybody that they let go was a big problem with the defense.
Mm.
I Tremaine Edwards, he had the most tackles on the team, but that was over 13 games because he missed like five of them. So like, yeah, I don't
Yeah, very
even, I
impressive.
don't think the defense was like insanely bad, but like, obviously takeaways was really good. But they gave up a lot of points. They would give up a lot of points. And I think they did improve in that type of category. But like Ben said, it's very, you know, just lateral movement, not really an upgrade to me on this free agency. I think that the center retiring hit them a little harder than they expected because they moved to replace that as soon as possible and probably moved away from a couple of other options that they had going.
Yeah, I just would have liked a little bit more aggression. You just won the division, but I guess at the same time, you have a young quarterback, you have young receivers. Why rush it? So, I guess you guys made some good points. I might give them a B minus
I
officially.
mean, and they've hit in the draft, so clearly
They
they kind of trust their front office to kind of make the right decision there. So they got some extra picks to
got
play with too. So
I agree.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
their big
They got to
free
handle the fix
agency
though.
was last year. They spent all their money. So in the situation they were in this year, I mean, it was pieces coming out and pieces coming in. So I think in terms of like replacing Kevin Byard with Kobe Bryant, getting Bradbury in last minute to replace Dahlman, I think that's pretty good work. But yeah, it's gonna turn to internal development and how they can continue to draft and develop now, and we'll see what they can do with that extra draft capital that they got from that DJ Moore trade. But for the situation they were facing, I think they did a pretty good job. Let's move on to another team that poached a Seahawk. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals. They brought in a couple defensive pieces. They got Brian Cook, Boye Mafe, who made some shmoney, 3 years, 60 million, and then Jonathan Allen on the interior of that defensive line, but not much happening for Cincy. We know they're not a big spending team. They also, of course, lost Trey Hendrickson after years now of trying to keep him around. Canny, are you encouraged by what the Bengals did?
Not really. I mean, it's just gonna be really sad for Joe Burrow. I think, they tried to go out and get um some defensive players, but I don't know, Jonathan Allen past his prime. I guess Orlando Brown Jr. is a good tackle. But no, I don't see this to be a tremendously good moves. Um, since he paid Joe Burrow and Jamar and T. Higgins a lot, and this is what they have to work with. So, yeah, I mean, they had their window. It seems like it's closed. Maybe they reopen it, but because you have a good quarterback, but Joe Burrow hasn't been healthy, so he's entering if man territory.
I'm gonna hop in here and I'm gonna defend the Bengals. I think it was a fantastic, honestly, free agency. I think Trey Henderson was going. They knew they finally lost him, and they obviously didn't fully believe in him. But I think they did a great job of replacing him somewhat with Boye Mafe. I mean, I might be a little biased, but I think he's a phenomenal signing. I think he's very underrated. He gets to the quarterback. I love Boye Mafe. I think it's a great pickup. But to add on top of it, they brought in Jonathan Allen. I think that is a tremendous upgrade to their defensive line. Even with the loss of Hendrickson, they still have an upgrade overall of the whole entire interior front. So I like it. I think that they focused on what their problem was, which was defense. I think they made good moves. They kept the guys they needed to make sure their offense is still lethal. I'm here for it, man. I'm giving the Bengals B plus, maybe 9A. I would like to see
But
somebody else
hey,
back end. But I'm going
Jesus.
to B. I'm going B. B straight up for the Cincinnati B Bengals, baby. B
Is
for
somebody paying you?
the Bengals.
You getting paid to say this?
Nah,
Who
bro.
you going to Cincinnati?
Joe
He's
Burr.
doing
Hey,
free
Joe
PR
Burr.
for his boy Muff.
you yeah,
Joe
boy,
Burr. Boy
Mafe.
Mafe.
When are we
Dog.
pumping the
Dog.
fucking carrying
I'm
water for
sad about
boy
him. I'm sad
Mafe?
about Boy Mafe. Can't, Kobe
I
Bryant,
don't
I can
know.
live with Boy Mafe. I'm sad we lost him, bro. Imagine, ooh, that boy would get to the
Oh, he
quarterback
played for Seattle. I'm
and
like,
we're
who the
like,
fuck is this guy?
all right,
Uh, yeah,
casual, casual,
yeah. Casually,
casual.
I'm not feeling what the Bengals did. Jonathan Allen's he kind of ass. And losing Trey Hendrickson for nothing really is, I mean, just a reflection of the Bengals front office. I mean, you didn't trade the guy when he's been asking for a trade, and you knew this time was coming for years now, and to get nothing for him. But boy, Mafe is pretty unimpressively bad for the Bengals. So I'm gonna give the Bengals the D plus for effort, I guess.
Yeah, I like the additions they made in a vacuum. I do think Mafe will be solid and has potential to be a pretty transformative piece. But
He's
I
not
mean,
all pro. He's not an all pro like Trey Hendrickson,
you're
though. I mean,
slotting him in for Hendrickson. I don't know how much better he can do in that spot. I do like Brian Cook, but yeah, this is just them continuing to pay for the sins they've made in the past, and I do feel like this has the scent of one last ride for that Bengals core. And
oof.
we'll have to do a mental health watch on Joe Burrow. We'll have to continue that next year. The Cleveland
Hey,
Browns, we don't need to spend too much time on them. They did quote unquote revamp their offensive line, but pretty much all their starters left, and then they brought in some bottom of the barrel starters to replace them. Elton Jenkins, Zion Johnson, who was on the infamous Chargers offensive line from this
Oh,
past year,
nice. Gotta get
and
him.
Titus Howard, who was on the other infamous offensive line for the Texans. So
Mm.
prayers
Mm.
up for Shador. We'll see if he can win his training camp battle with the degenerate, who should be back healthy this summer.
Oh,
Dallas
man.
Cowboys franchise tagged George Pickens, running it back. They also got Jalen Thompson traded for Rashawn Gary from the Packers, continuing to do business with Green Bay. And they also got Kobe Durant, the other fake NBA player. Bug, how you feel about the Cowboys?
The Cowboys are just doing what the Cowboys do. They're just letting Jerry cook. Let him kind of just do what he wants out there. I'm not too. I think the Cowboys are just gonna be where they've always been, just kind of middle of the pack team. I am interested
Middle.
to see how George Pickens responds to being on the franchise tag. That should be fun. And I am interested also in Dak Prescott post, the joint bachelorette party blowing up in his face. See how locked in he is for the season. So
Fifty season,
I,
bro.
I think the Cowboys, they made a lot of moves, and I think Jerry in his mind's eye thinks that, he kind of wanted the Micah Parsons trade, but I feel like they just, they kind of got worse instead of getting better from there. So it's funny what that all amounted to was Rashawn Gary and some other stuff.
Nah, they're just trying to rebuild
Agreed.
the Packers defensive line or something. I don't know, man. They're just like you said, letting Jerry cook, and that's their issue. What were we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know,
And
dude. They
he missed
turned
out on they missed out on Max Crosby apparently, which I guess, if you're however much legitimacy you read into how healthy or not he is and failing that physical, maybe they dodged the bullet. But to go from big fish Max Crosby to Rashawn Gary is pretty funny.
dude, I think their doctors helped the Ravens doctors fail him on the physical. So it kind of sounds like he's probably still after Crosby, trying to drive that price tag down. So we'll see how that works out for
Cook
Uncle
Jerry.
Jerry.
Cook, huh?
Jerry's world.
Let's hit the Denver Broncos. They released Dre Greenlaw, which was a little bit surprising, and re-upped with Alex Singleton. Outside of that, extended J.K. Dobbins, and that's about it. But or six. Why don't we start with you? You think that the Broncos are in a good place here? You think they should have been more aggressive?
I mean, I'm not 100%, you know, knowledgeable on what their cap space or whatnot is, casually. But yeah, dude, what the frick, man? You guys were literally a broken ankle away from the Super Bowl. Like, how about you let your nuts hang and go be aggressive? Yeah, I know, like, no offense, power to the female, but like, go out there and
Nice
shop, man.
thing.
Go
Women's
out there and
History
get
Month.
a win. I know. My wife don't hate me. Like, come on, man, go out there and be aggressive. Like, get back to the Super Bowl, man. It's like let your nuts hang.
Super Bowl.
They didn't. I don't even know if they're winning the division next year, and it's kind of sad because you had a chance to capitalize and you did nothing during the off. During this one off season. But no, I mean, Bug, Kenny, let me know if you guys think the Broncos did something or not. To me, it looks like they just freaking twiddled their thumbs.
I don't know. Casually, I wasn't really paying attention too much to the Broncos other than the Greenlaw leaving. I don't think they did much.
They didn't
Like you
really do
said,
anything.
like you said, six. You were a broken ankle away from the Super Bowl. I think you should be more aggressive than this for sure. Why aren't you trading for AJ Brown or trading for
Yeah,
some talent that could put you over the edge?
Portland Sutton is not a WR1 that's going to win Super Bowl. And your WR2, I don't even know who he is. It should be
Troy
Portland Sutton.
Franklin, baby.
Respect,
Troy
respect, Troy
Franklin.
Franklin.
He did
Respect
win me
Troy
a couple
Franklin.
Super Bowl games last season. But, like,
Respect,
come
Troy
on now.
Franklin.
You need to
Troy
upgrade.
Franklin.
Bo Nix is over here freaking winning games with nobody, and I don't even like Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is not winning games. Let's calm down here. The defense was winning games.
He won a couple. He won a couple.
He won a couple.
He had some game-winning drives.
And when they lost
Oh,
their
now they're coming
owner,
around. Now
Quite
they're
a
coming
few
around.
game-winning
Let's
drives.
calm down.
Now
Let's
they're
calm
coming
down.
lost that
around.
owner. What happened
Are
when they
y'all
lost
Should
seeing
that
he
the
have
light?
been up more in those games? Sure,
Are y'all
but he
seeing the
still
light?
did
Are they seeing the light?
it.
No, the Broncos didn't do anything. I guess their defense is, hey, we were only a broken ankle away from the Super Bowl, so maybe that's their defense on not really doing anything. But yeah, we like aggression, on this podcast. So
Well, entertainment.
making a move isn't
Aggression.
bad.
Yeah, personally, I'm wondering, there were some rumors, some whispers of a schism between Bo Nix and Sean Payton, which is
Mm.
whenever Sean Payton takes a side, I'm inclined to take the opposite side. So that's why I'm a little bit higher on Bo Nix now. But I do wonder if
Mm.
that's a bit of the reason why they're not being so aggressive is because their future is a bit up in the air right now. According to Over the Cap, I mean, they have $18 million in effective cap space to spend. Now there are some free agents still out there. I mean, Jawan Jennings is still available. Stephon Diggs, after his court ruling, we'll see. She's available. But yeah,
Yeesh. Yeesh.
it raises some question marks for sure.
The only person
All right.
signed Stephon Diggs is the
I don't
meme
think
machine,
I
bro.
don't think Stephon Diggs should be playing with
Refill
anyone nicknamed the
Pennington.
Boner.
You don't
I
want to take.
think I think he's his boners is what got him in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Lions. Trying to get back into postseason relevancy, they traded David Montgomery. Taylor Decker was cut, but they brought in Cade Mays to fill that center spot that was a huge problem for them. They signed Roger McCreary at corner. They traded for Juice Scruggs. I don't know how big of a deal that's going to be. And they also added Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield and Tyler Conklin. Six, what do you think? You think the Lions are back up or what?
I actually like it. They ain't making like big splashes, in my opinion, and I'm kind of sad to see that. But at the same time, I feel like the pieces they needed weren't the big pieces in free agency. So I kind of like it. I think they did what they could to make improvements. I think getting rid of David Montgomery and replacing him with Pacheco at cheaper discount to him I think is pretty good because it's an RB2 you need. You don't need another RB1. You need an RB2. So I think Pacheco will be a solid RB2. I think you capitalize on getting rid. I like it. I like it. I think Gibbs is ready to be a mainline RB1. So I like it. I think they had solid off season. I think the rest of their division didn't really do much either. So I think out of the rest of their division, they did the best.
No, no. The window is closed for the Lions. You signed in Isaiah Pacheco. This is it's over, man. Like this window is closed. You lost your
No.
lifeguard. This guy. You thought Jared Goff was taking you to the bowl. He's not doing that. Couldn't make the playoffs last year. All this injury
Might have been
talk.
our only shot.
Throw the Lions back where
This
they
might have been
belong in the
our only
dumpster,
shot.
man. This team
Oh.
has been too on its high horse. They're talking like crazy. They're like it's like Dan Campbell's hiring a terrible offensive coordinator. It's like you guys have always hired terrible offensive coordinators. The one
Well,
guy that you guys
they
have
had Ben
made
Johnson.
decent
I was about to say,
is
Ben
like
Johnson was
what
pretty
the
good.
fuck? All right. Other than Dan Campbell hires, like the Lions haven't had good hires in years. Like this, you're not even trusting him. Like these Lions fans have gone cocky. It's time to put him back
They
to
did.
the realm
They
of
did bring in the
losers.
Cardinals offensive coordinator, so that, that, that's pretty
Ew.
Like that was
questionable.
good.
Ew.
garbage,
Wee.
garbage time minutes is gonna be up to this week, man.
They're about to be the fantasy stat pad team of the century.
Literally.
Bug, how do
Oh
you
god.
feel about Detroit?
Uh, yeah, I'm lukewarm on Detroit. The Texans' offensive line wasn't good last year, and you trading for one of their starters on that offensive line. So maybe a scheme change might help Juice Scruggs, but I don't know. But Isaiah Pacheco, I guess, is a decent replacement for Montgomery. So I feel like they just kind of stayed the same ish of where they were last year. They got some draft capital, so maybe they can make a move there. But yeah, I feel like they just kind of stayed the same from last year. So, and they didn't make the playoffs, and they lost to nine. So I'm not really sure if you want to be in the same spot as you were last year. But they're another team where they could just say like, hey, some injuries here and there. Maybe we win a few more
Lose to
games
nine, or
here.
did they
So
lose to Max Brosmer? Who was the
They
team that
did.
lost to Max Brosmer?
Was that? I think
Was
that
that the
was the
It was the
Steelers or
Lions.
the
Lions.
Lions?
It was
was
the
the Lions.
Oh,
Lions.
oh
No, the
wait,
Lions
hold on.
lost to JJ.
The Lions lost to 9.
Yeah,
Well, they
Lions
might have lost to both of them. If it's
Um,
they lost on
yeah.
JJ's first game back.
They definitely lost to 9. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, they lost the Lions first
Okay.
game.
One team lost to Max Brosmer. We're gonna sniff y'all for the end of the pod.
That was Detroit. That was on Christmas. That was Detroit on Christmas. They lost to Max Brosmer
on Christmas, dude.
on
and you want
Yeah.
me
Christmas.
to believe
Uh,
this
2 years ago.
team can go to the Super Bowl again? No. Your best chance when you was when
Super
you were
Bowl
up 24
again.
to
They
0.
never went to a Super Bowl one
No.
time.
No, and your best chance was up 24-0 on the 49ers and you blew it. Like it's over.
um, I actually
Colts
do
fan
think they
telling you
made
it's
some
over. That's
solid
tough.
moves. I like
It's
Roger
over.
McCreary. I like Cade Mays a lot. I think as a full-time starter, he might have some juice. And I mean, their center situation was disastrous last year. But yeah, Isaiah Pacheco is just one of those names now that has a stink to it, and
He gave
it's just gonna
himself his
infect
nickname, which is the no.
everything else the team does. So I was a big Pacheco believer. I thought last year was gonna be the year for the Chiefs to move toward a more run heavy offense and Pacheco would eat. And that did
Should
not
have
turn out
traded
to
him,
be the
bro.
case.
I trade.
He lost
I
his
would
job to
love
Kareem Hunt.
Pacheco. Nobody would trade for Pacheco. Don't listen to him. I tried trading a freaking ham and cheese sandwich for Pacheco, and they would say no.
That's
Like,
why you lost, nigga.
I'll take a used paper towel, and they still said no.
Nah, dude. He gets the
All right,
hardest
let's
two
hit
yards you've ever seen, though.
the fastest 2 yards across the league that you've ever seen. Let's
Literally.
hit the Packers. Another team that didn't really do much. They traded for Zaire Franklin, a linebacker. Traded away Rashawn Gary, got rid of Elton Jenkins, and yeah, that's about it. So Green Bay, they made their big splash last offseason, and it seems like they're happy to draft and develop. So good luck to them. They also lost Malik Willis, so if Jordan Love goes down, they're going to have to come up with a new contingency plan. But let's hit the Texans, who were much more aggressive this free agency. As mentioned earlier, they got David Montgomery to take over that running back room. They extended Daniil Hunter for a $40 million 1 year contract, which is crazy. They got Braden Smith on the O line. They also got Reed Blankenship at safety and Logan Hall at defensive tackle. Bug, our de facto Texans fan, how you
Yeah.
feeling about H Town?
Hey, I like what the Texans did, of course. I'm gonna give the Texans an A. You know what I'm saying? You got some tackle help on the offensive line. You got David Montgomery at a discount. All they cost was Juice Scruggs and a couple late round picks. So you improved in the running back position. You improved in the offensive line. You got a white safety. You got to get one of those. They're all the crave these days. They're all the rage. All the kids are doing them. So you got to get a white secondary piece. So I love what the Texans did. I think
I agree.
gun to my head, if this wasn't Jags podcast, I would say they're the favorite to win the division next year. But this is a Jags
Kenny,
podcast, so I'm not gonna say
No,
my
I
AFC
mean,
South brother.
I
that.
kind of agree with Ben. The Texans made a lot of moves that are really good. Reed Blankenship stealing him away from the Philadelphia Eagles. They literally got rid of the entire offensive line that was ass, and
Yep.
brought in 3 new pieces.
Hmm.
I think this will be a good year for the Texans. They don't have to. They really came alive at the end of the year, and to the luck of them, they don't have to play the first place division schedule. So they got another easy schedule coming up. So yeah, I think the Texans might have the soft track into the South Championship.
You
All
know,
right.
I'm not gonna say I necessarily like their pickups because I do think David Montgomery sucks and is overrated. I'm not too big on how they
Tucson is
lost their
overrated.
offensive line
That's
and whatnot.
crazy.
But I'll say this: I don't like the players they got, but I love the aggression, and because they're aggressive, that's why this is the only team so far that I'm going to say is an A in the offseason draft grade or offseason grade because they have been so aggressive and they made so many big moves that it could pan out very well. It could be a division win. The Jaguars did not have a good offseason. The Colts freaking spent all their money on Alex Pierce and Daniel Jones. Titans are the Titans.
Shiesties up.
The Texans, the Texans, I think they clearly had the best offseason in this division, and you know what? They get the first A. Someone put the A on the freaking table. That's going to be them. We're going to do a quick little dance for them.
Hey, shout out Megan Thee Stallion.
Texans get the
I'm
first
not dancing for Texans. I'm not dancing in H Town. We'll leave that
No,
to
I think
James
so. Andy, let's
Harden
hear it.
and his
What do you
his fan favorites, but uh no, I am jealous that the Texans had an active free agency period for sure, but as a Jags fan, a division rival, I'm not too scared of what's happening in Houston only because the moves they made didn't really address needs. They really just got richer on defense, which of course is nice for them, but the offensive line they're shuffling again with bottom of the barrel pickups. Braden Smith should be okay, but that's only one piece. And then David Montgomery, I do like, but without an offensive line, there's only so much, especially as a power back, that you can do. So I'm not exactly shaking in my boots because of that O line and because they still have CJ Stroud under center. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it. We alluded to this earlier. Let's hit the Colts across the AFC South here. Like Six said, spent most of their free agent money on Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce. They did add Arden Key, but they traded away Zaire Franklin and Michael Pittman Jr. Kenny, how you feeling? How you feeling about the shoe?
I do like keeping Alec Pierce over MPJ. Yeah,
PJ.
Yeah,
Michael Pittman Jr.
over who?
Man.
Oh,
Never heard that. Okay, I mean, okay.
I thought you meant the Nets player who's on too many podcasts.
I
No,
didn't do that.
but
That must be.
Daniel Jones, I just, shout out to your agent, bro. This dude gets your bag, bro. Like this man's
Bag.
agent,
Bag.
like I don't know what he has on these GMs. Like he's got to be like blackmail him. It's like, yo, I caught you last night at the hotel with Shotty. Like, yo, like how you get
Yeah.
this money, bro? Like he just tore his Achilles and he got a 60 million guaranteed. Like this is ridiculous.
Hmm.
Like most of Colts Twitter, we're really not happy with paying this quarterback this much money when there was maybe another better option. Maybe with Kyler, we could have paid him a little bit more. I guess I don't know. Um, yeah, and then we didn't sign any linebackers, and we gave away our best one. So, yeah, under on the Colts win right now for me personally. So.
Under on the Colts. Oh no, little buddy. You don't like the Alec Pierce 4 years, 116 mil? You don't like that?
No, that's the deal I do like.
That's the you do
That's the
like.
wow. Okay, that's the one he
Oh,
does like. So
that's
we
the
got.
one you
The
do
other
like.
one, 2 years for 100 mil is ridiculous.
I mean, I'm gonna also throw up a round of applause for Daniel Jones, his agent. He does it again. I
I
don't know
don't
how
know
he
how
does
he
it.
does it.
He's never had 30 touchdowns in a season, and yet he's closing in on 200 career $1 million in guaranteed contracts. So I mean, just beautiful mastery bag work. Shiesties up. You got robbed. They did this magic,
That's all
man.
right.
Him and Alec Pierce were in the locker room scheming, bro. Like we gonna rob these dudes, man.
Out in
On some
Sauce
red
Gardner's basement.
scheming in South Gardner's basement, man. On some Red Dead Redemption. Like they saw that locomotive coming, boy. They was like, we hitting all of that, man.
We hated that
But
trade.
yeah, the Colts they spent a lot. I don't know what it's gonna amount to, but they definitely spent a lot. So if we're going on the aggressive scale, I'll give them a B. You locked up the most important position in football, which is quarterback for 8 games. So you did that, and then you got Alec Pierce. So shout out to the Colts.
Yeah, I
Shout out
mean,
to Alec
they
Pierce.
the thing is they were aggressive, but it's like they weren't aggressive in improving their team. Like you're re-signing these people, you haven't won with these people. Why are you not go get people that might actually make you win? Don't re-sign the people that you haven't won with. But but they were like 7-2 before
Yeah,
downhill, and Danny Dimes was leading the charge. So you know
it
what?
was.
I'm gonna see the wave. I'm gonna see the vision. Boog is speaking here, and I'm gonna listen. I'm giving the Colts a B. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. You look,
Yeah,
Danny Dimes might come and be the savior. You know what I mean? I believe. I'm gonna
that's
take
not
it.
bad under duress too. Like when you're getting robbed, that's not bad.
That hey,
When you
but
get it robbed, anything is better than getting killed. Like,
Yo,
his his agent deserves a man of the year. I don't know. Just give him a
bag Forbes
bubble
30 for
wrap.
30. I need to see
I
this
don't
man
know.
in the list, bro. Like,
I need to see it. This man is Jordan Belfort of agency. He is the wolf of NFL Wall Street. Like this dude is a dog, and I don't know his name,
oh,
but sir, I might name a child after you because you're impressive.
for real. Bag hunter
Uh,
supreme.
I'm gonna give them a neutral grade because they did what they had to do. But I mean,
I,
just as a Jaguars fan, seeing Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen commit probably the rest of their careers right here on 2 years
crazy.
of Daniel Jones for that
Dude.
Linsanity run. I mean, I'm jumping for joy. It doesn't seem like
No.
the Colts are going to be serious for the next 2 years. So I'm happy about. I mean, the best part is that even if Daniel Jones stinks it up next year, they're not going to get rid of him because he only has one more year left on his contract, and then they can just say that it's because he was coming off a devastating injury. So, so yeah,
2
the
years.
Colts
Man.
timeline is tied to Daniel Jones for the next 2 years. So I'm happy about that, which softens the next team we're going to talk about, the Jacksonville Jaguars. 13 wins and a division crown, and they did absolutely nothing. They re-signed Monteric Brown to 3 years, 33 million, which I do think is a steal. He played like a top 10-ish corner last year, so 11 million per year is pretty good money.
Mhm.
But I mean, damn, we lost
Nice.
Travis Etienne, we lost Devin Lloyd, and yeah, we're just standing pat. And I understand we had a lot of dead cap and not much flexibility to do anything, but it just makes me question what the long term plan was for James Gladstone coming in because last year you spent a bunch of money. You traded 2 firsts for Travis Hunter and made it seem like you're in win now mode. And now we're taking a bridge year after winning 13 games and winning the division. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're counting on internal development in their draft, but they also don't have a first round pick this year because of what they did last year. So, yeah, James
Yeah.
Gladstone, I'm watching you.
I'll say this.
I'm optimistic still about Jacksonville, but I do think he needs to be on fraud watch a little bit. Six, Bug, Canny, y'all have any thoughts on the Jaguars?
I'll go ahead and hop
Oh
in. I
wait.
want I want to defend the Jaguars a little bit. I want to defend their GM. This is the effect of the terrible contracts of the previous GM of Balky. These are dead cap space that is being taken up by players that no longer play for the Jaguars. One of them being Gabe Davis, Gabe freaking Bum Davis eating up cap. There's like 4 or 5 players eating up almost 70, $80 million of the cap space of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is not the current GM's, it's not the current organization's fault. This is the previous regime's fault. And so it's going to take a couple of years to get through those dead cap space that were terrible contracts. So I'm gonna cut them a little bit of slack. I think it sucks. You lost your players and you couldn't even get Devin Lloyd to stay. That sucks. It's going to be a worse season. They're not going to repeat what they did this previous year, but they're still not completely out from a couple of years. But I'll go ahead and let Canny, the fellow divisional rival. I'll go ahead and let you hop in.
I thought Trevor signed a team-friendly deal, man. What happened to the
I just
team-friendly
did, dude.
deal?
That's the only reason
What
we're not
happened to
over
the
the cap.
team-friendly deal?
That's why they got Chris
Hey,
Yeah, I
Rodriguez,
don't
bro.
know.
you know who's gonna make more than Trevor next year? Daniel Jones.
Hey, we signed players, but we aren't planning to win the
You know
division.
who's
Clearly,
making more than You know who's
Hey, Andy,
making more
hey,
than
hey,
Travis
I
Hunter
let
and
you
Jacoby
talk.
Myers
Hey,
and
hold
Brian
on,
Thomas
hold on,
Jr.
hold
combined?
on. Don't get
Alec
cream-faded
Pierce.
now. I let you talk about the Colts. Let me get my shit off. I'm just saying, you know, you want to talk. The Jags didn't sign much for a 13-win team, and then you got to play a first place schedule this year. Dead cap space, you know, cool. Dead last GM friendly contract didn't seem to help. So, Boog, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was a little surprised by the Jags' lack of aggression. And just some of the moves, just to look at them in a vacuum. I feel like you gotta have to look at the Jags moves in totality. Like what Andy said with the Travis Hunter trade, you don't have a first round pick. You traded Tyson Campbell for Greg Newsome, and then he walks in free agency. So, and then Travis Etienne, who goes to the New Orleans Saints. I thought that was a big loss as well. He was obviously, I think he had one of his better, if not his best year last year with the Jags. So,
That.
to kind of see him walk when he's still in his prime, when he's still healthy, is kind of tough as well. So I think the Jags lost big on some positions that really helped them excel last year. So we'll see how they do next year. But I was kind of surprised that they just saw a lot more going out than coming in.
Yeah, yeah,
Duval,
yeah.
I'm gonna offer y'all some copium right here. We're getting BTJ back, awakened. We're getting Travis Hunter Jr. back. We're getting Caleb Ransall back. So we're basically having our free
Does
agency
BTJ
period
remember how
right
to
here.
catch? Does he remember how to catch the ball?
He will, bro. He was.
Is
Gotta bring
Travis
back.
Hunter going to play the full
He
season?
woke up. We're gonna have a full season with Jacoby Myers. We're good. We're good. It's Bashal Tootin time in Jacksonville. We're gonna ride.
Yeah.
Tootin' and Putin.
Um, Speaking of running back moves, let's hit the Kansas City Chiefs. Added Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker for 3 years, 43 million. They traded away Trent McDuffie for a bunch of draft capital, and they got rid of Jawan Taylor. Yeah, they did add Alohi Gilman at safety to try to shore up that secondary after losing McDuffie and another corner. Bug, what do you think about the Chiefs? Is KC back with Kenneth Walker?
I think they're soft back. I'll give them a soft back. I won't say they're all the way back, but I really do like that they address a need, which is that they needed a running back. They needed some more explosiveness in their backfield, which they feel like they haven't had since I don't know, maybe the first year of Clyde Edwards-Helaire or something, or the last year of Jamal Charles, somewhere in that range. So
Jamal
it feels like
Charles.
it's been a while since they've had a running back that can pop. So I do like that they did that. They had their whole secondaries revamped, so that's gonna be a tall task for Spags to get it done with the pretty much new secondary. But if you believe in the Chiefs' infrastructure like I do, I think that they'll be fine. I think they know that Patty's coming off an ACL injury. Whether he starts the year is to be seen, but I think that they've helped him out regardless with Kenneth Walker. So I like what the Chiefs did in the offseason.
I'm gonna hop
I
in
did
here.
too.
Oh, go ahead, Kenny. Go ahead. Go ahead, please, Kenny.
Oh,
Please,
okay.
I got strong
Thank you.
opinion.
I do. I do too. I like what the Chiefs did this year. I like the Kenneth Walker signing. I think the biggest problem with Pat Mahomes is, you know, when they had Tyreek Hill and they had this a lot of play action and a lot of sweep coverage going, and you kind of lose that when you don't have a run game. And their run game just got tremendously better, allows Patrick Mahomes to open up on that play action and not for the defense to know immediately he's keeping the ball because Isaiah Pacheco can't run past, you know, a yard or two. So I think this is a very good signing. I like also them re-signing Thornton. I think Thornton's a pretty good up and coming receiver. So yeah, I think this team is re-upped, and like you said, like this Chiefs infrastructure, they know how to win. Last year was a down year, but hey, you know, you still have a top five quarterback. You can win any year.
I'll go ahead and hop in.
All right, number one, baby, it's Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah,
baby. It's talking about
Pat
top
It is
Mahomes
five,
is
baby.
probably
wins
one.
the best
Yeah, come
quarterback
on now,
in the
top
NFL. But
five. Come on now.
I'll go ahead and hop in. I
He's the best
disagree with
quarterback.
you guys. He
What you say?
He's the best quarterback in the NFL when he's healthy, no question. But I'm gonna disagree with both of you guys respectfully. I think I've seen Kenneth Walker's whole career in Seattle. I think I'm a pretty good knowledge of the Kenneth Walker as a player, and he is not durable. I love Kenneth Walker. I'm sad we lost him. I really do wish we kept him, but there was a reason why there was a RB platoon. And yes, Kenneth Walker was extremely talented. He was also extremely injury um, I don't know, problematic. He got injured a lot while he was with us. That's why he was never the 100% starter. Yes, he had a tremendous playoff run, but that was 3 games. He's not going to be able to carry this Chiefs team next season. He will be injured by week 4. I'm not wishing that upon him. I wish
Oh,
him
come
the best.
on. That
But
sounds
with
like
that
you
said,
are.
no
Hey,
Patty
come on,
Mahomes.
buddy.
Kenneth
Come
Walker's
on,
going to get
buddy.
hurt. Travis Kelsey's too old. They're going to have a really bad. They're going to miss the playoffs again next year. I love Kenneth Walker. When Patty Mahomes comes back, he might be a dog, but next year they're going to try relying on him, and he's not durable enough to carry an offense. I love K9. I hope he can. I might draft him in fantasy, probably not, but
Yes, you
I don't
are.
think he's durable.
This is all a
Nah,
smoke screen. We know what this is.
nah.
This man won Super Bowl MVP a month ago. Okay. And I think the Chiefs are smart enough to know that they're not going to pile on, 250, 300 carries on Kenneth Walker. I think they're smarter than that, especially if Patty's not coming back to start the season. I don't think they're going to workhorse Kenneth Walker, when they don't necessarily have to. So I'm gonna give the Chiefs some credit there. I think you're a hater. I think you're sad to see the best player on the Super Bowl winning offense. I think you're sad to see him go because Sam Darnold can't carry an offense in the Super Bowl.
JSS, JSS,
So you know what I'm saying. Let's show him the
JSS.
hater. Let's show some love to Kenneth Walker. Respect what he did for your team. Don't wish ill injuries on him in Week 4. That's not nice.
Yeah, I can't. I won't project injuries, but I do
Yeah,
think
come
Kenneth
on.
Walker, if he can stay healthy, he has had his proclivity to get injured in the past, but they've always been like ticky tack injuries here and there. They haven't been like major structural issues. So I am a little bit encouraged. And he is the type of talent that can transform the Chiefs offense as a whole. I mean, going from Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco to someone like Kenneth Walker puts so much more stress on opposing defenses that I think that
100%.
it can
Mm.
revitalize the deep passing game, the play action game, the option game. So I do really like that addition. I also like Kyrie Tonga on the D line. And then, of course, yeah, they got a lot of draft capital. They're going to have to hit with those picks to replenish their secondary. Losing both of your starting corners is tough, even for a franchise that has shown the ability to draft and develop corners. So
Aren't they a
I
Jeremiah Love
cautiously will
destination as
say,
well? Aren't they been in Jeremiah
pro-
Love mocks as well? I mean,
well,
Jeremiah Love and
probably
Kenneth
not with
Walker
Kenneth
won too.
Walker now, but
Oh,
we'll
that'd be
see.
nasty. That'd be nasty.
I don't think
All
Jeremiah
right.
Love is falling below
That would be
6. It
that
might
might
be
be
Oh,
crazy though.
okay.
Oh,
Titans at 3,
okay,
Giants
Kenny
in the top
Schefter,
6.
nigga. What's up?
Let's hit Raider Nation. The biggest spender in free agency this year handed Tyler Linderbaum a 3-year, $81 million contract,
Mm,
outpaying him to the next top earning center by nearly 10 million per year. They kept
Mm.
Eric Stokes. They signed Jalen Naylor for 3 years, 35 million. They got Quiddy Pay from the Colts. They reunited the Georgia Bulldogs linebacker duo with N'Kobe Dean and Quay Walker. And of course, they traded away Geno Smith, and they're expected to add Fernando Mendoza with the first overall pick in a month. 6. How you feeling about the Raiders? Are we back?
another
Are we
A
back?
on the board. Vegas, baby. Vegas is about to be crazy this next season. The Raiders are going to be nasty. They might even win a division. I'm just saying, don't be against it. Gamble responsibly. Don't do your kids' college fund. But if you
oh,
got a
what are
little
we
bit of
saying
extra
here?
money, I'm just
He just
saying, if
said
you
the
got
Raiders would win the division.
What?
I'm just if you got some money that you aren't too worried about, why not throw it on the Raiders? I think that they have a phenomenal offseason. They will deserve an A. They also will get a dance. They deserve it. Fantastic offseason. And the cherry on top of this fantastic offseason that the Las Vegas Raiders have is they kept a Max Crosby who is now determined to dominate the league. He was quoted earlier today saying, "I'm 200% ready for this season," which one is corny, but two is a man on a mission. They might have a nasty comeback season. I'm just saying, and they got a fantastic head coach now. I forget where he was before, but he was probably an amazing offensive coordinator. So they have a fantastic head coach now. I'm just saying, they might be in Vegas.
They're definitely gonna be doing that. They're definitely gonna be doing that. Are they gonna be
Yeah.
winning games? That is still to be seen. Yeah, I don't think I think the Raiders did a great job this offseason. They are definitely the offseason champions. But yeah, I don't win 6
To be
games
fair,
first.
they
Let them
were
come
the
over and talk to us.
off-season champions last year too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
6 games. We'll talk.
Bug
But yeah.
doesn't seem like you're too high. I mean, they did give away the bell of the ball at Geno Smith, so
That's true.
The
They did give
bell of
up
the
the best.
ball.
They did give up the best available quarterback in 26 free agency in Geno Smith. So that's an L on a that's an L automatically. But I don't know. I mean, you gave up what was it, like 70 million with 2 linebackers? I mean, you're signing linebackers. Yes, you're reuniting the Georgia boys, but do you really want to do that on the roads in Las Vegas? You already know how infamous those roads are. I won't talk about another player who may have not been living up to
they got an Autobahn.
so we'll see how those speed demons if they can abide by the motor safety rules of Las Vegas. But I don't know. I mean, the Raiders they opened up the checkbook, which I guess you like to see. We do love aggressiveness on this podcast, but man, I mean Tyler Lindenbaum smashing the
I
center
love it.
market, getting 80
Smash that.
million 3 years is bananas. I mean, your highest paid player is a center. That's just gonna be so crazy.
I love
I
it.
don't know.
I
You
love
just you just paid so much for linebackers. Taron Johnson from the Bills was a nice little scoop, a little underrated scoop there. He's a nice corner, but man, I mean, in terms of money, you definitely win, but I don't know what it's amounting to.
Football's won in the trenches. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. So
Yeah,
good.
I mean, it
Mary
seems like
Piper
that they
Jr.
just added Linderbaum to what was like the league's worst offensive line, but that's not true. They're getting Colton Miller back. Jackson Powers Johnson missed a lot of games last year
Hello.
at guard. They had Caleb
Hello.
Rogers, a rookie guard, kind of break out towards the end of the year. So if they can get
Hello.
one more tackle, maybe another guard as well in the draft, I think they're looking good on that O line all of a sudden.
Hello.
So I'm buying up Ashton Genty stock.
Oh
I don't know if
boy.
he'll be my keeper, but I do like what Vegas did. I know they spent a shit ton of money, but even with keeping Max Crosby on the ledger, they still have a cap surplus. So you really can't ding them too much for shelling out that kind of coin. And yeah, I think they want to win. They want to be competitive. I don't know about winning the division with the with
One
the
in the
Chiefs and the
division is
Broncos in there.
crazy, bro.
I believe.
Crazy.
But
I
but if you're
believe.
someone who believes the Chiefs' empire is over, why not throw
Just for
throw a
1
little bit
year.
of money
Okay,
on the
Fernando
Raiders?
Mendoza hasn't taken a snap yet. Let's calm down, man.
He's Tom Brady Jr.,
Oh, he
bro.
had it.
He's
Tom
not gonna
Brady.
eat any strawberries.
How many
Won
Alex
that
Tom Brady's
money.
have come
Guerrero's
into the
there.
league since Tom Brady retired?
A
He
lot.
won that new Corvette.
What?
Put a band. Put a band on the Raiders to win division. By the end of the season,
A
you got this
ban
new Corvette.
A
if you put
band.
a ban on the Raiders is crazy. And the Max Crosby
You
being
will probably be able to retire if you throw a band on the Raiders to win the division, and they actually do it.
yeah, you're gonna get
I
retired
haven't
because they're
peeped
gonna get
odds
fired
yet,
for your
but
FanDuel's
jobs
gonna fucking
drinking too much.
file a suit on you, bro.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
but yeah, I don't think it can be understated or overstated how big of a difference Clint Kubiak is going to be for this offense compared to Chip Kelly, who was calling plays that weren't in the playbook and didn't talk to any of his players. So yeah, I do think they can have a very transformative season and just one off season in between. Let's hit the LA Chargers real quickly. This is a team that had a lot of money to spend in free agency, and they didn't really spend much. I mean, they got Keaton Mitchell from the Ravens as a backup running back. They also got Charlie Kolar, another former Raven. They got Cole Strange, and yeah, that's it. Their center retired. They let go of Mekhi Becton at guard. Chargers, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, I like adding Mike McDaniel, but you had money to spend, you had spots to spend it in, and you haven't yet. Maybe you're planning some big moves down the road, but yeah, there were some holes to fill here, and they just didn't address them. Six. What do you
Yeah.
think about
I like
the
the
Bolts?
I like the OC signing. I think a fresh OC is needed. Justin Herbert is still yet to make it to the playoffs or be actually, excuse me, they made it to the playoffs and got embarrassed by a unbelievable comeback by the Jags. But we have yet to see Justin Herbert actually playing meaningful football in the playoffs. And I think that's unfair because Justin Herbert is a great talent, even though I'm one of his biggest haters. Maybe this OC can help cover some of the band-aids and maybe get them somewhere so that way I can, finally have my chance to prove it. Justin Herbert is overrated. But right now, he's just carrying a poo-poo offense, and he looks like God. But the truth, I think he's overrated. So Mike McDaniels might expose that, but overall, you guys really did nothing. Jim Harbaugh's still a hoe, always will be a hoe. Kind of
Pedo
boring.
lover.
What? What she say?
Jim
I'll
Harbaugh.
let you go ahead and hop in on that one. Go ahead and explain yourself a little bit more.
Jim Harbaugh, man. Jim Harbaugh, MAGA supporter, walks in
Oh man,
everywhere.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't know that.
Just
Makes
and
sense now.
this is a he's conservatively saving money on the team, trying to please his owner or whatever bullshit. Yeah, this Chargers team is bullshit, whatever.
Andy Carlson. Yeah. Shout out to the Chargers. Yeah, I think they just kind of stayed the same. Hopefully, their new centers can help them more than their last center did, where Justin Herbert got his ass whooped every game. But yeah, the Chargers didn't really do a lot. And you would think LA would be a destination spot, for them to make some splash moves. Apparently, they missed out on Crosby and
Everybody.
Linderbaum. So
Everybody.
tough,
Linderbaum really
tough
hurt.
there. I don't
Especially
know who
to a
the brain
division
trust is
rival.
there, but yeah, they kind of lost out on a lot. So they did get King Mitchell and Khalil Mack. So shout out to Khalil Mack getting the bag. He's still getting one. 12 years in the league, still
It's
going.
it's
Still
that
going
state
strong.
income tax, man. Shout out Gavin Newsom.
Shout out
Let's get
Gavin
the other
Newsom.
team in LA, the Rams, getting frisky. They got Trent McDuffie. They also got Jalen Watson. So they poached the Chiefs' starting cornerback room, and they also re-signed Cameron Curl. So yeah, some big moves. There's some talks that they could be interested in adding AJ Brown as well. Six.
Mm.
Are you getting scared yet?
I'm sorry, who are we talking about again?
You
Oh,
scared yet?
sorry, I forgot. They're just nobody to us. We own them. They're our children, as we say. Dude, they can add AJ Brown. They can Antonio Brown. They can add freaking Doctor Brown. It doesn't matter. You guys aren't going to
Dr.
make
Brown.
the playoffs. Seahawks are still going to run the division. But no, in all seriousness, not being biased to the Seahawks, they actually did have a good all season, in my opinion. I think this is one of the few teams who are Super Bowl caliber teams that actually was aggressive in a good way. And I think that they made aggressive moves and they're still trying to be aggressive. So, in respects to being a non biased fan, I think the Rams have done a good job. But at the end of the day, the Seahawks are still going to tax that ass.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't. I
Cam boy.
mean, Boog, you want to go? You
Kenny
want to go,
Carlson.
Boogie?
No, go ahead, Kenny
You,
Carlson. You got it, dude.
you cost.
What's the political analogy here for the Rams? You got one?
Political correspondent.
The Rams are just the rich keep getting richer, man. Matt
Yeah.
Stafford's still playing like an MVP, wins MVP.
Hmm.
They get Trent McDuffie, they get the other cornerback from the Chiefs as well. They really that was one of their biggest holes, and they've instantly upgraded. I would be scared if I was any other team in the division of the Rams. This isn't a team you guys beat very easily either. You had to go to overtime. Sam Darnold threw what, 4 picks? Or 7 picks in like 2 games against these guys, and they didn't have an all-pro quarterback. So I would say that you should be pretty worried if I'm being real. So,
Talking about Trent
yeah,
McDuffie, who had 3 interceptions his whole entire career, and Sam Darnold had no interceptions in the
he
playoffs.
just threw four
And
in a
he
game.
only
In a
he threw
game.
4 in one of the 3 games we played against them. In one of the 3 games, and we lost that game by a missed field goal as time expired that Jason Myers should have hit. So they beat us by a missed field goal as time expired because of 4 interceptions. And then when he
But
threw 4
but
interceptions, we beat them
six.
in
Yes.
regular
You beat
time,
a
no problem.
yes.
They're
Yes.
they're also
You won two.
undefeated against the Rams with Rashid Shaheed, so maybe that's why they
Come
gave him a
on
bag.
now. Come on now.
Maybe it was.
Usually
But
much more
it's
than
not like those games were blowouts. All of those games were close games, and I think the Rams have really upped their ante to match the levels of the Super Bowl champs.
okay. I like that. I
Bug,
like that. You like
any
him.
any additional thoughts on the Rams?
Well, no, I just think that I do like to throw rain on the parade a little bit. So just to say, your quarterback is 38 years old. So you're all of this hinges, all the moves you're making is hinging on the back of 38-year-old Matthew Stafford. So I don't
Ty
know how
Simpson is
many.
coming, dude.
Ty
Hey,
13th
Simpson.
overall pick, Ty Simpson.
I
They're
believe
good.
I believe in a Bama quarterback. Probably never,
Hey,
but
LeBron, we're good. Ben Simmons is here.
yeah, all of this is on the back of 38-year-old Matt Stafford. So that's the only thing is your windows is open as his Percocet prescription. So let's see how that goes.
I can hear the Perky's calling.
All right,
Going to
I'm
that
gonna speed
Toradol
run
again.
the Dolphins, who are in complete rebuild mode. They did grab Malik Willis, who was actually the belle of the ball in terms
That's a
of
win now
free
move.
agent quarterbacks. So, yeah, well, good luck to him next year because there's not much around him. They did add Tutu Atwell and Jalen Tolbert. They got Joshua Uche on the edge, who I did like. I wanted the Jags to get him, and they got him for looks like almost a vet minimum. So I'm a little jealous of that. I'm not sure why they added him when they're in rebuild mode. Should have just gave him to Jacksonville, but yeah. Uh,
You
Miami
should have
will
just
check
gave
in
him to
on y'all
Jacksonville.
The phone's not working in Jackson
next
apparently.
year
I ain't pay that
after
KVA bill.
after Tua's 55 M's comes off the books. The Vikings, they got James Pierre at corner. They re-signed Tavier Thomas. They re-signed Eric Wilson. They got rid of Javon Hargrave, got rid of Jonathan Allen, and their center Ryan Kelly retired. But the big story is Kyler Murray coming to Mini. We called it on the last podcast. 6. You were one of those believers with me. What are you thinking about Kyler to the Vikes?
I love the Kyler to the Vikings move. I think that the Kyler Murray to the Vikings is a tremendous move. You got you a mature veteran quarterback who knows just to make the right read. No need to do too much. He's proven that when he actually has a good team around him, he can be good, in my opinion. But I think your defense got worse, and your defense is the heart of your team. I think that that's going to hurt them more than Kyler Murray is going to help them. So I think overall, I don't like it for the Vikings overall, their free agency. But the Kyler Murray move, I absolutely love. I think that was the right move and the best move to make for this team. I think the JJ needs a couple more years before he can be 9. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bug. You have some opinions. I heard you over there. So what are you thinking, Bug? How you feel
No,
about the
you
Vikings?
just you call it Kyler Murray a mature quarterback. In last podcast, we were talking about how much he loved Call of Duty. So it just kind of seemed
Bro,
like those
what's
are.
wrong with video games?
It just kind of seemed like those are two things working against each other when you're calling your quarterback mature and he's logging more hours on Call of Duty than in the film room. So, yeah, I'm agreeing with you with the defense. You know, your defense was your strength, and you got a little bit weaker. Although with Brian Flores there, I guess as long as he's there, you should be a pretty okay with defense. Their best running back is Aaron Jones, I guess. I don't know
Yeah,
if we,
he's back.
we're paying any note
Jordan
to that.
Jordan Mason's nice. Jordan Mason's nice.
Okay.
They released
Yeah.
Jones. I thought Aaron Jones got released.
No,
Uh,
they
No, he got
revoked his deal.
restructured.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So your top running back is Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, neither of whom seem like they can stay healthy. And your quarterback, we don't know if he can really stay healthy. So you got a bunch of dudes back there who kind of are always pretty questionable week to week. So yeah, I'm not the biggest Kyler fan. Obviously, most important position in football, that's an upgrade over nine. So at least you win there. But I don't know how much better he is than nine at this point in his career. So. But shout out to Kyler. He's getting paid from the Cardinals. He's there on the vet min, so he's gonna have something to prove. Hopefully, if he can stay off the PS5, then he should have a pretty good season.
Man,
If Kevin
Yeah,
maybe.
O'Connell can get him to stop playing
I
Call of
agree.
Duty, maybe he is the QB guru after all.
I agree, man. I agree. I think the Vikings realize that nine isn't the future. They want to give something else a try. Um, yeah, I think this is a good signing, but I agree also with the Brian Flores. As long as he's there, he can rally 12 guys to play for him. So yeah, I think
Wait,
this team.
we gotta dunk on the we gotta dunk on the Vikings, bro. Sam Darnold just won the fucking Super Bowl, and
That's
you went
true.
from Sam Darnold, you punted on him, okay,
That's true.
to take a swing on nine, who I
That's
feel
true.
like nobody really believed in besides maybe Mel
Nobody
Kiper
did.
and Dan Orlovsky,
And Kevin
and
O'Connell. Don't
and
don't don't
Kevin
leave Kevin
O'Connell.
O'Connell. Don't leave
And
Kevin
Kevin
O'Connell out of
O'Connell,
it.
for some reason, I guess because maybe he looks like him a little bit, he reminds him of his son or something. I don't know. But it's like you took a swing on that. It blew up horrendously. You were out of playoff contention by Thanksgiving, and now you just signed Kyler Murray. You're supposed to win the offseason. I think the fuck not. I think you fucked up. You should have signed Sam Darnold. You should have re-signed him, and you're going to be paying for that crime for years to come. And part of that payment is nine. Part of it was Max Boner, and now it's Kyler Murray. So there you go, Vikings fans. If it was the Jets who did this, then we'd be dunking on them. So let's dunk on the fucking Vikings. Like
Then
you made
He's got a
the Jets
point.
terrible moves.
drafted Sam Darnold. The
Yeah,
Jets
but he
did.
didn't leave. He didn't leave the Jets and win the Super Bowl the next season. Okay, and he never went 14-3 with the Jets. So he should have been on the Vikings. He went 14-3. He had 2 bad weeks, and they shipped him to start JJ McCarthy.
The
And now
Vikings
Which is
should
Kyler
have
stupid.
Murray.
paid the man. Should have paid the man.
You should have
Should have
paid the
paid the
man.
man.
Should have paid the man.
Yeah, I would say they do deserve to get clowned on for moving on from Darnold
Yeah.
to trust their future to nine, but this Kyler Murray thing for $1 million, man, this is like you ever see someone who just makes the worst choices possible and they still somehow pull it off? This is one of those. I mean, how can you really be mad at Kyler Murray on a vet min? I mean, the downside is like you only get him for 1 year on that veteran minimum. So this is it right here. This is the year. And like Six said, they do have some revamping to do on the defensive line. I do like James Pierre as a corner, but yeah, I am enthused by Kyler Murray. It definitely does move the needle in terms of Justin Jefferson stockholders. So we'll see. We'll see what the Vikings can do. Also, I want to defend the gamers real quick. I mean, LeBron James has logged thousands and thousands of hours on Madden. Luka Doncic is ranked on Valorant.
And
King Bug,
Overwatch.
King Bug, one of the greatest podcasters in the entire world, was on League
That's
during
true.
our original runtime. So
That's fair.
shout out to the gamers out there.
Shout out to the gamers. When Kyler Murray
Let's hit
comes back
the
3-1 against the Warriors, and he can play all the Call of Duty he wants.
fair, fair. Let's hit the Pats Super Bowl runner-ups. It's a tough spot to be. They got aggressive as well. They got Romeo Dobbs from the Packers, 4 years, 68 millions. They got Elijah Vera Tucker on that O line that needs patching up. They also got Kevin Byard from the Bears. And all they really lost was Stephon Diggs and Anthony Jennings on the edge. But talk about Vera Tucker. You think he can be a big boon for that Pats O line or what?
I think that he can help. I think he'll be a help. He's certainly an upgrade. They definitely need him, but just as watching him from the Jets as a Jets fan, I don't know how durable he is. He's certainly got a pretty checkered injury history, so I don't know. I don't want to wish injury on him, but just state
Wow.
facts as facts.
Wow. That's
If he
fucked
stays
up.
healthy, it's a major
Fucked
upgrade. But
up.
hey,
Wow.
he's had major
Wow.
injuries. All right, he's torn his tricep. He's torn something. He's torn you
He's
know
torn both his triceps somehow.
torn both his triceps, and yeah, I think he has come off with torn Achilles as well. So yeah, he's had a lot more major injuries than Kenneth Walker. I'm not predicting what week he'll get hurt. I'll never do that. Uh, but he should be an upgrade if he can stay on the field. But Pats fans, I will tell you that's wishing optimistically, and you did pay a pretty penny for him. So kudos to you.
20
Shout out to
million
Drake May.
guaranteed.
Yeah, he got a bag. So hopefully it pays off for you. But yeah, if that's your saving grace, then it's a tough one for Drake May.
I think
I like the
I'm gonna
Dobbs signing the most, honestly. The Dobbs signing is pretty good. I think Dobbs is one of the better end zone receivers, red zone receivers for the Packers last year. And I think he gives Drake May a great red zone threat this year. I you know there was a lot of Pats the playoffs, like it was just like they would move the ball and then get covered and they would lose it all, and I think Romeo Dobbs adds a lot of flexibility to that. So I like this. I like these moves. I don't know Kevin Byard if he might be. Oh, you like my fire. It might be raps for bro, honestly, but we'll see.
As far as Dobbs, compared
Yes.
to what the other receivers got, I do like the contract. It's not he didn't get Alec Pierce money, so he got him on a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal.
He didn't get
Yeah,
no
6 years. We
40
Anything
talked,
but Alec Pierce money is a good deal. It's the highest paid
had him
NFL
in
receiver contract all time.
no,
the
I
Hawks
think
got the Pats in prison. What do you think about them swapping Stephon Diggs for Romeo Dobbs?
I actually think that they didn't really have a choice. Stephon Diggs and swap his freedom for some prison cells. No, I don't think they really had much of a choice on that one. I think overall, though, the Pats, I think they're still not Super Bowl contenders. I don't know how they made it to the Super Bowl last year. But with that said, they had a fantastic offseason. I'm going to give them credits. It's not an A, but it's a high B. It's an 88, 89 B, B plus. But they had a fantastic offseason. They filled some holes they needed. They filled in some pieces they needed. They got Romeo Dobbs, who's a good serviceable receiver. If they pull off an A.J. Brown trade, then they can move up to an A for the offseason. I know they are one of the aggressive teams. I heard it was the Rams and the Patriots are the two most aggressive. So if they win the AJ Brown sweepstakes, then I'm gonna give them an A. I think that pushes them back into Super Bowl caliber. But for now, it's just a high B plus, and I like it. I like what they did. They're still not Super Bowls, but I like it.
I'm gonna give them an A because they re-signed Tommy DeVito, Giants legend, and anytime you add Tommy Meatballs to your squad, I think that's an automatic A. Let's talk about the Saints. They got Travis Etienne or Etienne,
18.
Yeah,
Etienne,
how about you say it right?
and David Edwards from the Bills at guard. They got Noah Fant, and the only person they lost this offseason really was their punter who they traded away. Kenny, are you back in as a mother shucker?
We'll see. We'll see. I liked
No, he's switching
I
up how he
liked
always does.
I
He's
don't
switching
know.
up how he always
You
does, just like he
switch
did the
it
Drake or the
up.
Kendrick beef. He's
The,
switching
You
the
up.
switch
Drake and
it
Kendrick beef.
up.
he's,
I
he's
think I
switching
think that
up.
was a good reason to switch up last week. To be
He's Canadian. What do you mean? You stay with your brother.
Yeah, you
I
got
think
Nah.
we're all anti
Oh shit, it's all
testosterone.
connected. Nah, I think the Saints made a good
Yeah.
move. I think Kamara is past his prime. I think
Mhm.
HN is a great signing. I think the Shuck train is gonna continue. We'll see what Kellen Moore can cook up with, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I
This
got.
this is my favorite to win the South.
Yeah.
This is my favorite to win the South.
oh,
Like we
Okay.
we talking about the
whoa.
Panthers. we talk about the Panthers. I love what the Saints did. They went out and got ETN. They went out and got some juice in the backfield. So they get a high mark for that. They got probably the best guard on the market. They got David Edwards, snagged him from the Bills. That was a great move. Kaden Ellis from the Falcons, he's probably their best linebacker, hard hitter. He depleted Jackson Dart on that one hit. So I'm gonna always watch for bro. I'll always be looking over my shoulder for him. And yeah, they dumped all their old talent. Taysom Hill, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis gone. So out with the old, in with the new. They got younger, they got faster, and they helped out my boy Tyler Shuck. And they gave him some weapons in the backfield. They gave him Noah Fant too to throw to. So I like their receiver room, and they see what they do in the draft. But I like what the Saints did. This is what you do as an up and coming team. When you got a bright spot, you try to build on it. You help out your young quarterback. You get him a weapon or two, and you show him you got his back a little bit. So I like what the Saints did.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a great take. I don't hate that take. I think it's all cute and dandy, but not going to actually happen. But no, I think it's a great take. I don't think the Saints are going to win division. I think that's ludicrous saying the Saints are going to win division. But no, I think that
Any
bringing
any crazier than the Vegas Raiders winning the West?
hey, I said that was my bold prediction. If that's your bold prediction, I will respect it. But
No, my
that's what
bold
it is.
prediction is the New York Jets winning the AFC East.
Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and get back to being serious. But so no,
The prodigal son.
I think I think the and whatever the fuck his name is, I think the Travis Chain signing was great. Because he is a very much an Alvin Kamara type player. So I think while Kamara's still in the league, letting him get a couple of seasons with AK will actually make Chain, whatever his name is, a fantastic running back for the rest of his career. So I think that's a great vision they have. So going out with the olds, coming in with the new, got Chain, whatever his name is, learning a little bit under AK. I don't hate it. Shucker ain't the truth. Is they're gonna need somebody else because he's not the Shucker to do it.
You
But
lying. You
well, yeah,
lying.
in two years, I can see this team having a chance. But next year, they'll be lucky to finish third.
You tripping.
Yeah. I'm not buying New Orleans stock overall, but just as a fantasy sneak peek, I am gonna be high on ETN going into next year. Uh,
Boy.
uh, a small secret about the Jaguars is that our offensive line was actually not that good. Trevor Lawrence, ETN, and Liam Cohen made them look better, a lot better than they were. And then the Saints already had one of the beefier offensive lines in the league, and now they're adding David Edwards and they're adding ETN to that running back room. So, yeah, as long as he can stay healthy, and then Tyler Shark's going to be throwing a lot of checkdowns unless they get someone else opposite Chris Olave. So yeah, ETN stock skyrocketing. That's my fantasy sneak peek for y'all. Let's hit the New York Giants, the new era. They
Yeah.
brought in former Raven
Yeah.
Isaiah Likely. They added Tremaine Edmonds. They added Greg Newsome the second. Added Patrick Ricard. Added
Mhm,
Calvin Austin the
mhm.
third to replace Wandell as the mini speedster in the wide receiver room. Boog, how you feeling about the Giants?
Hey, look, I like what the Giants did. No surprise there. But I think that they improved on the margins. I think they did what they need to do. Re-signed two key offensive linemen in Jermaine and Evan Neal at the guard spot. So we stayed good on the offensive line. They were bright spots, and yeah, I like the Isaiah Likely deal. I think with our two tight end set, we're gonna be running a lot of those. John Harbaugh, loves his two tight end set. So we're gonna be running that with Theo Johnson, Isaiah Likely. So I like that back there. I would have liked to have gotten in on the Kenneth Walker sweepstakes. I think that would have been nice with him a Scatterboo, but we'll see what we do in the draft. But no, I like what the New York Ravens did, man. We became the New York Ravens. I like it. And when John Harbaugh comes to town, you get the guys that John Harbaugh like. And Wandale Robinson got a bag. Shout out to him going to Tennessee, reuniting with Brian Daboll. But that's not a bag we should be giving out to Wandale Robinson. He is like a 5'7" slot receiver. Shout out to him eating up all those targets. He should help out Cam Ward a little bit, get the ball out quicker. But at that number, you let him walk. So I think the Giants, they made some good moves. Improved on the margins. Got Greg Newsome, who I like at corner from the Jags. So shout out to that move as well. So yeah, the New York Ravens were in business, bro. We primed to go 9-8. Don't fuck around. Let's go 10-7 now.
Won a
No,
Super Bowl
I'm
nine
gonna
and seven.
We've
I
done it.
think this was they did. They did. But no, I think this was a phenomenal offseason. I think starting off with bringing in the good Harbaugh brother that people actually do like was a key move to this whole entire rebuild. But no, I think this was more of a retool than a rebuild with how quickly they're doing it. I agree with everything you said. I mean, I just want to say this: Harbaugh plays chess, not checkers. When he was with the Ravens, they re-signed Mark Andrews to essentially the same exact contract Isaiah Likely
Hmm.
signed with
Hmm.
the Giants. He made them, or not made them, but he talked them into re-signing Mark Andrews late in
Yep.
the season last season. There was probably a little bit of knowledge he wasn't coming back this to next season, so made them lock up their tight end position just so he could steal them wherever they went. The dude is a genius for a reason. He's a famous or a fantastic coach for a reason. That's
Yep.
Big Red move. That's New York football moves. Big
Yep.
Blue, see the vision, MetLife Stadium. Here we go.
Yeah, I like the moves. We'll see if John Harbaugh can hold a lead up 21-0. So that's really all it is. So we'll see what happens.
Out of here,
All
nigga.
right. On that note, let's
What? How
flip
much Alec Pierce
Burrows.
got again?
We're not talking about Alec Pierce. We're talking about John Harbaugh, buddy. Let's stay on topic.
Let's hit the Jets in the prodigal son. They
Come on.
added
The Jets.
Geno Smith. They added Demario Davis. They franchise tagged Brees Hall. They
Yep.
traded for Minka Fitzpatrick. They got Joseph Osai. They got Dylan Parham. Lot of things going down in Jets
Nashawn
land.
Wright on
Aaron
a 1 year
Glenn
deal. Come on.
looking getting aggressive for possibly his last year in New York. Bug, how you feeling about the Jets?
Last
You
year,
know, the prodigal son returns. Geno Smith comes back to where it all started. Uh, yeah, the Jets, man. The Jets do what the Jets do, and they leave you scratching your head. And I like we this whole podcast. The theme is aggressiveness. They were aggressive. They did go out and do stuff, but when you look at it all in the grand scheme of things, they really just added shit on an already shitty pie. So I don't really not really in love with what the Jets did. I was not a big Geno Smith fan the first time around. So the second time around, 10 years later, he's 10 years older. Did he learn anything? No. He's actually throwing more interceptions now than he was back then. So I'm not sure what he really learned all these years, especially last year losing with the Raiders how he did. But if he can get us the top quarterback in the draft like he's done for his last two stops, then you know, hopefully that'll be nice. But yeah, Minka Fitzpatrick is over the hill. Demario Davis is over the hill. Demario Davis said at his press conference, he was like, "When I heard the Jets, it was a no-brainer," which sounds like shiesty season. Like, yo, I'm ready to retire, so it's a no-brainer. Let me get this last bag here before I ride off into the sunset. But I mean, the
Demario
best move,
Davis.
the best move they made was getting Nashawn Wright on a 1 year deal. Pro Bowl cornerback with the Bears last year. So they did do that. They didn't pay Elijah Vera Tucker. They didn't fall into that trap. Yeah, the Jets, man.
I'm gonna defend it. I'm gonna say it. J-E-T.
No,
Yes,
no,
yes, yes,
don't do this.
yes. I
Don't do
like the
this.
offseason. Like we've been saying,
Why?
like you said, like you've
Why?
been saying this whole entire time, this podcast is about aggressiveness, and they were aggressive. I like I'm here for it. They did a fantastic offseason, in my opinion. I think they did what
Fantastic.
they did. I like it. I like it. Keeping
Are
Brees
you
Hall was one of
high?
my favorite parts. I think they had a great offseason. They that trade for Mika was impressive. I like it. I'm gonna say Aaron Glenn is maybe having a comeback season. You know him at the draft lottery is hilarious, but maybe Jets football is back, baby. Gino, Gino, Gino. Yo, as long as he doesn't drop the ball and stand up one of his teammates at charity events and make them pay money for him and owe his teammates like $5 and doesn't let his teammate break his jaw before the season even starts, I think he will have a great season with the Jets. I really
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I'm here for it. Jets, 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 Jets.
No.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. New York football, baby. New York is back. MetLife. Crazy.
I don't know.
All season long.
Geno Smith has led the league in interceptions since 2022. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I like these defensive
That's a
signings
bad thing,
though.
Kenny. That's a bad thing.
I know he was. I'm being
I'll solve
sarcastic.
that one. I'll solve that one for you. It's a bad thing.
You didn't have to answer that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, real
But
question.
these defensive signings are pretty good. You know, Aaron Glenn is a defensive head coach. These
Is
might be
he?
a little old on the. Yeah,
Oh, our defense sucked last year. I don't know.
he did suck last year.
He,
He did suck big last
he's
year.
taking over the play calling again though, so
Oh,
watch out
that's
for
right.
that.
That's right. He wasn't calling the
We'll
plays.
see. We'll see how the defense lines up this year, but you know, Aaron Glenn might be staring down the barrel real soon. So
We didn't have an interception last year, bro.
it's first
They
time
got
since what,
Nation right
1962?
now, dude.
Nashawn
The
Wright.
interceptions leader.
Minko Fitzpatrick, bro.
That's the kind of
Um,
that's what Woody Johnson's up to. Is like, oh, did we not get a pick
You
last
know,
year? Let's just pay a
hold
guy
on.
who got picks last year. That
Do
should
you
work.
think Woody Johnson just forgot that he had Geno Smith in the first place? Because I feel like he just did. And he was just like, oh, who's this Geno guy? Let's sign him.
No,
Like,
no way.
He might have. He could have, Kenny. Our head coach was sleeping at the combine, so clearly we're not paying attention really. To say that we're dialed in, I wouldn't say we're the most dialed in team in the NFL.
yeah.
But
I
that could
know.
very well have happened. That could very well have happened.
It's like, who's this Geno
listen,
guy?
I'm a big fan of the Jets offseason
Oh
because
God.
it can only go one of two ways. Either Geno Smith plays surprisingly well because he's coming from the Raiders in a disastrous situation with Chip Kelly at the helm and no offensive line in front of him to one of the better young offensive lines in the league. Throwing to Garrett Wilson instead of fucking Trey Tucker and Jacoby Myers, who was checked out. Or you get Geno Smith, the tank commander, and you get a fun 20 pick season and you lock up a premium draft asset to get your quarterback of the future. I mean, like,
We've been doing that. We've been
you
doing
can't
that
do
since
better than
Gino.
this.
Gino was our premium draft asset at quarterback.
He was
Our
a
offensive
second round
coordinator
pick.
is Frank Reich, bro. You know Frank Reich is our offensive coordinator. Did you know that?
The third Reich.
The fourth Reich. It's the fourth Reich now.
Like, come on, man.
But we never got to see what a fourth Reich would look like, so you never know.
Mm, mm, mm. Good thing the
Communism.
tower's already down. Good thing the tower's already down.
Yo, this guy.
This is not good. This is
All right.
this is gonna be bad.
Let's check in on the Philadelphia Eagles. They got Reek
Yo.
Woolen, probably the best
This
quarterback
guy
on the
said the
market.
towers are
1 year,
down.
15 mil, prove it deal. They extended Jordan Davis. They re-signed Brandon Graham, and they also added Arnold Ebiketie on the edge. But what'd you think about the Birds?
I like the bird getting Reek. I think that's a nice underrated move that they made. You know, to get a champion cornerback in that secondary, which was kind of shaky at times last year. So you know that was good for the birds. True move, but you know I don't really think they did a whole lot, which is kind of scary, I guess, if you're an Eagles fan, considering that their offense didn't look too great last year. And AJ Brown, what's going on with him? Does he want out? Is he just gonna suck it up and play? What does that look like if he does? No Dallas Goddard, so he was kind of their leader in touchdowns, I believe, last year on the receiving end. So you know, Jalen Hurts is going to have to get the ball to Devontae Smith and AJ Brown for this team to you know kind of go where they need to, or go where they want to, I should say. But yeah, the Reek signing was good, but pretty quiet for the Birds, all things considered. Uh, you know, had a lot going out than they had going in, and they traded for Jalen Phillips and you know let him walk. Obviously, the deal was pretty too rich for their blood, but you know you did trade for a guy midseason and just kind of let him go. So.
So
Howie,
now on that part.
what you got going on, Howie?
What's up, Howie?
You know,
Howie,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead,
say
Six.
I don't mind that they were too quiet because it's hard to know what direction your team's going. Because if they keep AJ Brown, they're still Super Bowl contenders. If they get rid of him, it's a retool year. So I mean, it's kind of they're in a tricky situation. I think they need to go ahead and put those rumors to bed and say we want AJ Brown's diva ass because I think that because of that drama, that's what makes them have a D grade. But with that said, I don't hate the Rick Woolen signing. I'm also kind of happy he's gone because while he did get a lot of interceptions his rookie year, kind of been disappointing ever since. He's one of those players that's a little too aggressive and tends to get burnt. He lost week one for us against the 49ers. He was the one who gave up the touchdown that lost the game. He is the reason why we lost that game week one against the Niners, to be honest with you. He had that terrible penalty that gave the Rams some last second life against in the playoffs. So I'm not upset to see Reek Willing gone. Shout out to him. He was fun while we have him, but I'm happy he's gone. I don't think he's going to be a very good player for the Eagles. I think he'll make good plays, but overall will be negative. So I think they had a pretty bad offseason, if I'm be honest with you.
Yeah,
And Ruben J. Brown, you
you
know
don't
what?
like the guys who played on your team, bro. What's up with that? You don't like the
I
guys who
like
played on your
Cleveland.
team.
Dude, that's why we let him let. I'm on the same wavelength as John Snyder. That's why I'm okay with him letting them leave.
Yeah, he
Yeah, but you
loves the way
trashing
I'm
them on the way
offhanding.
out.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just being
think the
honest.
Eagles had a pretty bad offseason. They lost a lot of good talent, you know. Kobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Jalen Phillips. Those are three big parts of your defense. And just getting Tariq Woolen back for that really is whatever. Obviously the Jalen Phillips deal is pretty high, but I don't think the Nakobe Dean deal was that bad. So yeah, I don't know what happened with the Eagles this offseason. Howie's just in his room, you know, jacking off, I guess. So we'll see
Oh,
what he does. We'll see what the
hmm.
Eagles do this year.
Hey, yo,
Um,
you think about Howie Johnson?
Um,
What
I
the
mean, this is just Philly's bill coming due. They've been restructuring contracts for a long time now. They got a Super Bowl doing it, but eventually kicking the can down the road comes back to bite you, and it's starting to do it. I mean, Jalen Carter still needs a new deal. We'll see where they go with that. But I think getting Reek for 15 million is a steal, especially considering the financial situation they were in beforehand. I mean, I don't think you can overstate the upgrade. He's going to be over Adoree Jackson. He's good for a boneheaded player too, like Six said. But I mean, they were compensating for Adoree Jackson at cornerback two all season, and now they won't have to worry about that. So I think that alone can kind of take them back to their defensive dominance that they showed in years past, as opposed to what they were doing last year. Reed Blankenship is a bit of a tough loss, but he's coming off probably his worst year as a pro. So we'll see if they can replace him. Uh, let's hit the Pittsburgh Steelers. They traded for Michael Pittman Jr., aka MPJ, as somebody calls him. They also got Jamel Dean at corner, extended Cameron Hayward, added Rico Dowdle, got Sebastian Joseph Day, Jaquan Brisker from the Bears. They're looking pretty aggressive. Bug, how you feeling about the Steelers?
yes, as we all know, I was very high on the Steelers going into the playoffs last year until they ultimately got worked out of the playoffs by BBL bandit CJ Stroud. So I think their offseason, they recovered pretty nicely. I like the moves that they made. Michael Pittman Jr., or as Candy would like to call him, MPJ. I think he's going to slot in very nice next to DK. You know, DK taking the top off the defense. Michael Pittman underneath is probably the ideal way their offense works next year. So that's nice. Jamel Dean, that's a good pickup for their secondary. They also re-signed Asante Samuel Jr., so he was pretty good last year. And they got my boy Rico Doodle. Shout out Rico Dowdle. He's tweeting out at the Panthers. He wants revenge. They play next year. Apparently, he's got the game circled, so you can already go ahead and pin Rico Doodle in for 200 yards that game. So I think they added some more to their offense, which they needed. It looked kind of stale last year, and
mhm.
yeah, they kind of are getting back to the strength of Pittsburgh Steeler football, which is their defense. You know, getting tougher on the in the secondary. I think they got Brisker, who's a hard hitter in the secondary as well. So maybe they get back to that Steelers football. You know, pound you out. You know, run. You know, they got Jalen Warren. They got Rico Dowdle. You know, Michael Pittman, big physical receiver. DK Metcalf, big physical receiver. This would have been an interesting Kyler Murray team for me, but If the perk god, if he reads up on his oxycodone prescription, it should be a pretty solid team. Then they should be able to make some noise in the AFC North, which is always pretty tightly packed. So, shout out to the
Yeah,
Steelers. I think I give the Steelers a B plus.
yeah, I don't like to agree with you either, Burger. I actually prefer to disagree with you because I feel like some of your takes are fucking terrible. But no, I'm gonna agree with you on this one. I think you were kind of spot on. I think they had a great all season, and I think Kirk Rogers has a chance to make one last run. You know what I mean? One last dance. I think that this would be the team to do it with. That Sante
Mhm.
Samuel Jr. re-signing, I think, is one of the more quieter but very very important moves that the Steelers made. So no, I'm with you. I think that they had a fantastic offseason, and the whole entire theme of this podcast has been how aggressive were they, and because that's what we like to see, and they were some aggressive motherfuckers. They were in the bedroom
Mhm.
with the fucking 3 different kinds of strap-ons. Like, they were aggressive, and I'm
Wow.
here for
Yeah.
it. I love now that's
Yeah.
aggressive. You haven't had that situation,
That's
you
aggressive.
haven't lived life. But no, that's what I'm talking about. That's some aggression right there. That's some freaky fucking
Yeah.
Friday shit that we live for. You know what I mean? That's it's my birthday. Why not, babe? Come on.
Mike McCarthy, you freaky boy. You freaky boy, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I think the Steelers had, if not one of the better off seasons as well. Rico Dowdle is a great signing. Great defensive picks. I think Mike McCarthy's assembling a good team. We'll see if Perk Rogers comes back, but they got a better running back. I think Rico Dowdle's way better than Jalen Warren or anybody else on this Steelers offensive running back line. Yeah, I think the Steelers probably had the best offseason for the NFC or AFC North.
I would say the Steelers would have had a great offseason if they were actually a team on the cusp of contention, but they're not. They might they might win 9 or 10 games again with the moves they made. But as long as your quarterback plan is Aaron Rodgers at 40, 40 years old, or Will Howard, a 6 round pick, yeah, there's
Well,
there's
hard.
there's only so high you can fly. I would buy stock on Michael Pittman as well in fantasy. I don't think he's going to go very high. I do think he's going to end up becoming the de facto wide receiver one in Pittsburgh. He's a zone beater for Aaron Rodgers. I don't think Rodgers is going to look much DK Metcalf's way, and they don't have any other pass catchers.
He
So
didn't look this much
my
way this
stock on
year.
Pittman Jr.
He
Let's
But
threw
hit
it to DK
San
this year.
Francisco. Yeah, that's true.
yeah, I got that white
They
boy
traded
connection though.
for Osa Odigizua from the Cowboys on the interior of the D line. They brought back Dre Greenlaw for 1 year, $7.5 million, and they gave Mike Evans an absolute bag. Bryce Huff unexpectedly retired, and then I think it was Adam Schefter did some tweets for his business that he's launching for some reason, and they finally let go of Brandon Ayuk. 6. How you feeling about the Niners? You think they can be frisky in the division again? They also, we don't know what's happening with Juwan Jennings, by the way. So 6. How you feeling about that?
I don't think they know what's happening with Juwan Jennings. I don't think anybody does. I don't think it really fucking matters because he sucks. I think Mike Evans. You've had a tremendous career, and it sucks to see it end like this because you're going to be destroyed by that practice facility. You're going to have some pulled pork taps by the end of your first season with the 49ers, and it sucks. This will be probably your last season in the NFL because of the practice facility, and plus the ass whooping the Seahawks are going to give you twice a year, maybe even 3 times. But now the 49ers, your off season fucking sucked. The Rams had a solid off season, but you guys did not. Mike Evans was not the signing. I love Mike Evans his whole career, but he's not the guy that's going to be able to carry an offense, especially as a WR1 like you guys need. So, 49ers fans, I hope you're listening when I say this. You guys fucking suck. You will suck again. Robert is fake, and you're a bunch of 40 whiners. I'm going to let somebody else take over.
Okay. All right. Enough sucking. 49ers. It wasn't the best offseason, I don't think either. I agree with 6. Mike Evans is a little bit past his prime. I think he'll give him like a good 600 yards, but like I don't know. I saw him at the press conference, and the balding is happening. It's time to play the song, bro. Yeah, I don't. I think it's a C, pretty average.
I like the Mike Evans move. I think if you're a Niners fan, which clearly there are none on this podcast, I think that in your ideally, Mike Evans steps in as like a kind of like how Devontae Adams did with the Rams. He kind of was just more of a red zone threat than a true wide receiver one. Hopefully he can help Brock Purdy out in the red zone. Help McCaffrey and Kittle out in the red zone. So in that regard, if you're depending on him like Mike Evans of Mike Evans pass, I don't think you're getting that. But if you're looking at him as more of that, kind of Devontae Adams, red zone target role, then I like that move. They brought back Tonjes. Shout out to Jake Tonjes, won people some fantasy weeks. So I think the Niners, while I wasn't too inspired by their moves, I think that they made some sneaky good ones that have some high upside. So mm, yeah, I think the Niners they're gonna be competitive like they were this year or this past season. So and their quarterback is also not 38 years old, so that too.
That helps.
Yeah, that does help, but yeah, adding Mike Evans to this core is just asking to get memed to hell and have the most obvious thing ever happen. So yeah, we'll see how that works out for them. We'll see if they can get any games with Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Nick Bosa all healthy at the same time. I'm gonna go ahead
Mm.
and say no.
What's
I'm
the
gonna take
over
the
under
under
on
on
that
that
on that
one.
many games?
Hey,
3.5,
Live games. Yeah,
4.5.
I'm smashing the under. Let's hit the Seahawks, the champs. As we've mentioned throughout the pod here, they've lost quite a bit of talent. They did retain Rashid Shaheed. They did retain Josh Joby, and they added Emmanuel Wilson to replace Kenneth Walker. Six. Are you concerned about any regression from the champs here?
I'm just confused on the we lost lots of talent because the people we lost like 4 players. Kenneth Walker, yes, that hurts, but
Super Bowl MVP.
we gotta remember he spent the whole entire season being 50-50, so he really wasn't a key part of the offense. He didn't score a touchdown until the playoffs. Yes, he had a fantastic playoff run, but I think we proved throughout the whole entire regular season he's not the key to our playoff or to our offense. Our offense is perfectly fine without him. With that said, Boy Mafe was very injury prone. Kobe Bryant was injury prone. Reek Woolen was not even the CB2 on the team. Who we did keep, we chose Josh Joby, who was the CB2 throughout this past season. We chose to keep him over Reek Woolen. I love that. Joby Jones has been a fantastic corner. We kept Rashid Shaheed, who is more than just receiver. He's a return specialist who elevated the special teams to being a top 3 special teams in the league. He had very clutch returns. He led that comeback against the Rams in the regular season. He started the game against the Niners in the playoffs with a kickoff return for a touchdown. You can't pay price on that. We need him to bring the energy he brings. Jake Bobo, fantastic receiver. He didn't have that. He had a touchdown in the Rams playoff games. Didn't do much else. But Drake Thomas, that was the linebacker that didn't really have much of a name before the season. Made lots of clutch plays throughout the season. He was a re-signing, so I personally don't have a problem at all. And then we also added Emmanuel Wilson, who is the running back for the Packers, who when he was playing for Josh Jacobs, he looked good. So I think he looks good. He's going to look good for the Seahawks. I got no problem with the offseason. I honestly like the offseason. We didn't really do any big moves, which I would like the big move considering the cap space. But I still am holding out hope we get Max Crosby.
Oh,
I think we're a sneaky team.
Bug, your thoughts?
yeah, I was kind of confused by the Seattle offseason. I guess when you're the champs, you get the benefit of the doubt to kind of make these kind of moves. But I
You're
was a
already
little confused at keeping Shaheed, I guess, over Kenneth Walker. You did sign up to a pretty fair deal for Shaheed, 3 years, 51 mil. But he wasn't a receiver last year. He was kind of just a punt returner, kick returner, which he was, one of the best in the game, and they did win the Super Bowl. So again, hard to criticize it, but 51 million for a guy who wasn't really a part of your offense last year is a little head scratching. Letting Kenneth Walker go also a little head scratching. And they lost some guys on their defense who which their defense was their hallmark. So you trust in Mike McDonald. He's got the equity, he's got the ring at this point. But I was a little surprised that Seattle made the decision that they did, especially with Kenneth Walker. I mean, he won Super Bowl MVP. I don't know if it's very often you see a team win Super Bowl MVP and then move on from the guy the very next year. Don't really
Bump
know
that.
how often that happens, if that happens a lot, but yeah, that was
Bump
a
that.
pretty surprising move. And we'll
Bump
see.
that. Happened the last Seahawks Super Bowl. The last Seahawks Super Bowl MVP was released. KJ Wright. Excuse
Well,
me.
shout out to him,
Malcolm
Malcolm
Smith.
Smith. Yeah,
Malcolm Smith was released after winning Super Bowl MVP.
yeah, that's true. But he wasn't the starting running back on the team. So again, we'll see. We'll see what they do. Surprised they weren't a team to go in on Dobbs if they were gonna, let Kenny walk. But hey, they made the moves that they did, and they're the champs, so they get the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. Yeah. Personally, I would have re-signed Kenneth Walker and let Shaheed go if I was the one calling the shots in Seattle. I do think Shaheed is holding K9's bag there. I do understand that Shaheed made some pretty instrumental plays, but 3 years, 17 million per is another way of saying $17 million for each catch he had in this playoff run for the Seahawks. So that's a little rich for me, but maybe they're moving to a more pass centric offense with Clint Kubiak gone, um, which is kind of what the offseason is kind of indicating to me. But I trust Mike McDonald and I trust John Snyder, so I don't want to be too harsh on the reigning champs. Let's touch on the Bucks. They added Alex Anzalone from the Lions. They added Kenny Gainwell, the Steelers' best player last season. They added Ashawn Robinson on the
Mhm.
interior of their defensive line, and they also got Jake Browning, the Jaguars Slayer, and they brought Kate Otten back. Six, you seeing a renaissance season for the Bucks, or how you feeling about Tampa?
Nah, it's over. I'm sorry, Baker. You are a cool guy, and I always wanted you to be a good quarterback. But at the end of the day, I just don't think you are, and it sucks because
Mm.
you are a cool guy. You look like a total bro, but you're just not a fantastic quarterback, in my opinion. And you lost some pieces. You lost some big veterans in the locker room, you're going to feel that. The team is going to feel that. They're going in a new direction. They need to fire their head coach when they go in this new direction, and they did not. They brought back the freaking bum Todd Bum. So yeah, no, they're going to probably finish second or third in the division. They're not going to be worse in the division, but they're not going to win the playoffs, or excuse me, win the division. They'll be maybe two, at most 3 games away from winning the division, but it's not going to be a fun season, Tampa. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tampa. It's just not it. Todd Bum needs to be fired.
Yeah, I think Mike Evans taking the electric substation instead of another down with Todd Bowles is a great testament to Todd Bowles' career here. I think Todd Bowles has overstayed his welcome. He stayed on with because Bruce Arians, love, and I think it's running its course. The midseason collapse last year, even he collapsed under the pressure, just cussing in press conferences and stuff. I think this is going to be a really bad team. Baker really regressed again at the end of the year. I think the Linsanity run he had is kind of over. So we'll see what Baker does, but I'm not too high on the Bucks this year. I think the other three teams are the other two teams, the Carolina Panthers and the Saints, got better. The Falcons, who gives a shit? But I don't think the Bucks are that much better than the Falcons right now either.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm a defend Baker a little bit. I think Baker, when he's healthy, when he's not trying to battle through 12 different injuries at the same time, I think he's top half of the league quarterback, which is good enough to win you some games, good enough to win you a division. But unfortunately, I do think the Bucks have a Todd Suck problem, a Todd Bum problem. This
Todd
this is
Bum.
a team, this is a team that quit on him last year. They lost 4 of the last 5. They could have gotten the playoffs a number of different times if they had just won one game down the stretch. and they proceeded to lose every single game that was of importance up until the last game of the season, where where their fate wasn't even in their hands anymore. So I do think that they have a Todd Bowles problem. I don't see how bringing him back is going to solve anything. I think Mike Evans took the same amount of money to go to Niners, which I think also speaks to their problem of he just wanted to go anywhere besides playing for Todd Bowles, even if it meant playing in the Static Shock Superdome.
Yep.
Static
uh,
Shock.
so yeah, I think the Bucks are going to be in for a tough season next year. They have a second place schedule, so they don't really get a lot of relief there. So yeah, I think this might be a last ride, if you want to call it that, of this current Bucks iteration.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Yep.
highs weren't that high, and it's about to get real low in Tampa. Yeah, I mean they lost Jamel Dean, who's one of their few promising defenders on that squad, and I mean shout out Alex Anzalone, but as a pretty on par off ball linebacker. There's only so much you can do. There's still so many defensive holes on that roster, and they lost Rashad White, they lost Mike Evans. So yeah, unless they have an incredible draft, I just don't see how the Bucks are going to get any better, even if they do stay healthier this year. Let's hit the Titans. Titans were the other huge spender in free agency this year. We said they got Wandell Robinson earlier, 4 years, $70 million. They got John Franklin Myers, who's probably the best defensive tackle on the team. They revamped their cornerback room with Cordell Flott and Alontae Taylor and Joshua Williams. And yeah, big moves. They added Mitchell Trubisky as a backup as well, traded for Solomon Thomas. They brought in a bunch of guys from the former Jets. Boog, how you feeling about the Titans?
Yeah, I called the Giants the New York Ravens earlier, and that's kind of how I feel about the Tennessee Giants. They kind of just signed a bunch of dudes that I guess were under Brian Dayball's system, his also highly touted system in New York that got him ran out of town when he couldn't when he couldn't win more than 6 games after his first season. So congratulations for locking up all those guys, and I guess giving Cam Ward some help. I mean, they went out and spent some money. Their big fish was Wandale Robinson, which we kind of touched on before, but that's not. I'm not in love with that contract. I think he is firmly a slot receiver, and when you're paying that kind of money for a guy who's just a slot receiver, I think that's you're asking for trouble there. He's a fine player, but I think to be your number one option, I think that's going to be a tall task for him.
It's all
Shout out
about
Daniel
DK.
Bellinger. Shout out Daniel Bellinger. But yeah, Cam Ward, you got some help a little bit. We'll see what Robert Bob Sala can do with that defense. You got some corner help. You got some defensive line help. But yeah, in the AFC South, I'm not sure if this puts you in the Jags or Texans tier. So it might be another year or two away from that. They went out and spent money, which is encouraging. They were aggressive, which is encouraging. But you know, it's one of those situations where let's all that money you spent, let's see what it amounted to.
I'll
Yeah, I
say
think
this.
they.
Go ahead,
Go
gang.
ahead,
Go ahead.
Six. No, you
No, no,
got
no.
it. You got it.
I'm
Okay.
not going to be very long, so please go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, I feel like the Titans just kind of got aggressive, for the new stadium, like bring some life, sell some seats. They didn't really do much to uh, make the team insanely better. Brian Dayball, and Robert Sala got the logo to be bald now too, so I guess that's a win for them too. But I don't know. This team clearly just went out to spend a lot of money to say, "Hey, we're trying, guy. We're trying, team. We're trying." So it's
Yeah.
clearly just to sell tickets for the new stadium. So that's at least how I feel. Go ahead, Six.
No, I mean you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, not to be too long. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. The Tennessee Titans football team sucks, and they will suck again next year.
Like it.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if merging the Brian Dable Giants offense and the Robert Saleh Jets defense and forming them into the Titans is a great approach
Super
for the
bid.
future.
Like seeing two exes go out to the club together.
That's the New York.
Um, I do like Cam Ward. I like Wendell Robinson. I thought he would. I predicted he would be like an underrated, sneaky good signing, but the
It's a
contract
huge
he
sign.
landed, I think
He
that's
got a
out of the
bag.
water. I don't think he can really outperform expectations anymore. I do like the moves they made on defense. John Franklin Myers is super solid, putting him next to Jeffrey Simmons and Robert Sala's system. That'll be a pain to go up against, but yeah, they're definitely at least a year or two away from serious contention. And last but not least, the Washington Commanders, after a very disappointing season, they went out and they spent a bag as well. They extended Laramie Tunsil. They brought in Chig Okonkwo at tight end. They got in Leo Chanel at linebacker. Nick Cross at safety, Kalavon Chason at edge, and Rashad White at running back. Several other moves. They brought back De'Ami Brown to see if he can reignite his connection with Jaden Daniels. Six, you think the Commanders are in for a bounce back season?
I like it. I like it. I think you still have JD5. So I think, be aggressive. Like we said this whole entire episode, be aggressive, be aggressive, be aggressive, be aggressive. I like it. I think they're bounce back. I think that their division isn't the best division. I think the Cowboys have question marks every year. I think the Eagles are obviously a quality team, but the Giants are not. So I think, they should be aggressive, and they are going to be aggressive, and I'm here for it. You know what? I'm here for it. I think Magic Johnson knows what he's doing, and it's all his credit to him on what they're doing. So, no, yeah, for real, I think the Commanders are looking good, for real. And the
Bug?
Giants.
Yeah,
Uh,
you worried about the commies?
The
Worried about the
commies.
commies. A little worried about the commies. Yeah, I am. I am a little worried about the commies. Their defense was pretty bad last year, and considering another defensive coach with a bad defense, Dan Quinn. So he got some pieces to hopefully help him out. They could be a little bit more disruptive on that side of the ball. I do like the Rashad White signing. I think he's a nice piece in the backfield. But this team is their destiny is settled on JD5 if he's going to stay healthy. Obviously, smaller frame guy, take some hits, had some pretty horrific injuries last year, ending with that elbow injury. So, their main concern is keeping him on the field. But other than that, I do like the moves that they made. They did hand out a lot of money. Away, I am learning more about him casually. Didn't know much about him, so got to crunch the tape over the weekend, and I'll get back to you on that one. But
Actually,
Chase sounds a good piece. I like that move for on a 1 year flyer. So I think the Commanders they kind of address some needs, but they waved around a lot of money, and I'm more concerned about their offense. More so than their defense and how they're going to look on that side of the ball. So receivers went around. They didn't really get one. Debo's gone, and we'll see what another year Terry looks like as the one another year into his career. So that's what I'm concerned about with Washington. But I like the moves they made on defense.
Yeah, I agree. I'll keep this short too. I like the moves they made on defense. I think Nick Cross is a killer signing. He's led the Colts in tackles the last 2 years. And I don't. I think the receiver core is still to be left to seen, yet to be seen. I don't. Like Ben said, it all hinges on Jaden Daniels whether he's healthy or not, and whether or not Dan Quinn can coach a team to a win. So, yeah, I don't believe in Dan Quinn. I don't think the Commanders are going to be good again for a little while. We'll see what happens, but I'm not. I don't. I'm not high on the Commanders.
I like what the commies did, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, last year they were old and decrepit on D, and they brought in a ton of pieces. Odafe Owe, 7.5 sacks last year for the Chargers. 2 years removed from double-digit sacks with the Ravens, so brings a little bit of pass rushing juice. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to not upgrade from what they showed on defense last year. But I would like to see them add a pass catcher opposite of Terry McLaurin, not De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown, you fucking suck. He took $10 million from the Jaguars to sit on the bench. So shout out to you and your agent there after a Cinderella playoff run with the commies 2 years ago. But
Actually,
yeah, work on them hands. Washington, I mean, y'all needed some wins after what Bam Adebayo did to you and the Wizards. So
oh,
shout out to DC. Shout out to the DMV. Y'all wanna give some quick parting thoughts about Bam's historic night before we get out of here?
Eric
Wilt,
Spoelstra.
Bam, Kobe. It's crazy, man. Crazy. Just crazy.
Eric
Just like we
Spoelstra.
all thought, bro.
Oh, you
Just
should be
like
ashamed of yourself. As an honorary, Filipino, I'm gonna step in and talk about my brother.
As a
I think you
what?
should.
Oh, a what?
I think you should be
Oh,
ashamed of
oh,
yourself.
a what?
Honorary Filipino, man. Pinoy pride,
An
bro.
honorary Pinoy.
I
Come
just
on,
want to be
man.
cracked with that. Okay.
I'm
I like
ashamed.
to
I'm
give like a
ashamed.
card.
That was an affront to the basketball gods. You will pay for that. You don't intentionally foul up 30 just to break a regular season record, which isn't even a regular season record. It's second all time. So, that was pretty gross to see. I expected more from Spo, and Bam, that was crazy, man. You took 44 free throws. The
nuts.
Wizards are trash, bro. The Wizards are so trash.
Sorry for it. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna defend Bam a little bit. Nothing should be coming at Bam. No ill word should be said about Bam. Coach Bo, you should be ashamed of yourself. Bam, you
Man,
should not even be a little ashamed of yourself. You weren't the one out there fouling the people. You were just the one saying, "Yo, if you give me the rock, I'm gonna keep shooting that motherfucker." So I bring no ill will towards you. You hit your free throws like you should have. You made moves to get fouled by triple covering when the Wizards were trying to triple cover you. I don't play ill will towards you. 83 is 83. Give him his flowers. I hate Bam Adebayo more than the next guy because he ruined the bubble for the Celtics when he blocked Jason Tatum on that fucking dunk attempt to
he
send us
did.
home. So that was
He
pretty
did.
depressing. I was already depressed about COVID, so that's kind of fucked up, Bam. But I'm gonna give you your flowers. You hoop. I don't know if Aja Wilson taught you some moves in the bedroom or what. You went
The
crazy.
bedroom.
Give you respect. You dropped 83. 83 is 83.
Yeah.
Shout out to
83
Bam.
is
Shout
83.
out.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Bam.
Bama
Wow.
Siemens speedster.
Hey, about the same amount of field goal attempts as Kobe. That's all I'm gonna say. So it wasn't like he was just chucking out there. He can't help if he gets fouled, but it definitely was not the most ethical historic game. But neither was Wilt. So fuck him. Fuck Wilt.
It's true.
Fuck 'em.
Bam went crazy.
It's
The
true.
most ethical 70 pieces are my boy Dame and my boy Luca. So we're gonna hold our heads high on those. And yeah, casually we're gonna get out of here. It's been over 2 hours. So that was a
Hey,
lot
real
of fun.
quick.
We'll see.
F1 is back. Tune in casually.
We don't care. We don't care. We don't care.
No,
I don't
You
give
can
a
say-
F1.
Oh,
You can say WBC.
Shout
Take
out
that,
the
Kenny.
Philippines. Shout out the Philippines. Shout out the
out the
Pinoy. Shout out Ube.
Domestic violence.
Shout out Halo Halo.
Most casual.
Yeah.
Okay.